Hey, welcome guys. Welcome back to another live stream, another Sunday special with our guest Andy B. He's not even a guest anymore, guys. He's here every Sunday. So welcome, Andy. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out and checking out some work. I hope that we have a fantastic stream here. If you guys haven't already, send your work into the email. Let me mute myself over here. Send your work into the email scrolling at the bottom of the screen. That's artmesomething@gmail.com. As usual, I apologize if the quality of video in my little squares over here is a couple of potatoes. You don't need to see us, just hear our voices. Welcome, Andy. How you been, man?
I'm all good, raring to go. Looking forward to another Sunday night of, shall we feel that way out? Shall we roast a few tonight, Dave? Shall we give them some absolute crap?
You know what? If we're going to do what we have to do, if it's not good and there's things that need to be done, we're going to let you know. Just understand that it comes from a place of genuine care. I mean, neither Andy or me. I mean, Andy might get some enjoyment out of it. So I don't know. I can't speak for Andy, but I don't really get a whole lot of joy out of telling somebody that, hey, this is messed up. You should do this. Really, sometimes you just don't know. And that's what we're here to try to help you with. If you don't know, you submit something, you're like, I don't know. I like it. It's ink and skin. Did I do a good job? All right. Well, we're going to let you know. Okay. We're going to point some stuff out. And some things we'll point out that you might even see in my own work. So I might say, hey, this line is beat up or whatever. And you might find a beat up line in my own work. Right. So again, we're not perfect. We're just tattooers who enjoy tattooing and sharing what we know. And I hope you all had a fantastic Sunday. I know I did. Church service was great again this week. And I'm looking forward to next Sunday see your beautiful faces or see your beautiful comments in the chat. Also, guys, I know for people who are just tuning in who don't know myself or Andy or like whatever, but guys, I am going to officially put it out there in the world. I want to quit vaping finally. I quit smoking how long ago? About a couple years ago, maybe now, and I quit smoking by vaping, and now I think, guys, I am ready. I've been convicted. It is time to try to quit vaping, and it's extremely hard. It's way harder than I thought it was going to be. So if you guys find yourself, say a little prayer for me if you would. I would greatly appreciate it. So now that all the off-topic stuff's out of the way, Andy, what do you think of this X-Men piece, man?
Oh, it's top-notch, Dave. You know what I mean? Look at that super saturated colour. Top-notch line work.
I know.
Right. I mean, absolute Picasso piece. World-class piece of crap, basically.
But that heart nose, man. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, is that supposed to be a bit of a beard that's on his chin? Because it's not even there.
It looks like one of them back teeth, like a big tooth with the roots coming down. Yeah. It's just, I don't know.
I thought with his beard that had fallen off his chin, it went. It's.
That's what happens when you turn blue. It just falls off. So you got And I'm assuming this is Wolverine. That's the only reason I assumed. I feel bad for this person. I mean, after you got through the Wolverine, I'm assuming they start from the bottom, work the way up to you. All right. So you get Wolverine done, and you're like, take a break. I mean, the person's got to go. Maybe we should stop here. If you're in that position, you're getting tattooed. And you take a break and you got Wolverine looking like this, and they're planning on doing just stop, walk out, find somebody that you trust, and get it taken care of. But I stole this straight from Andy's Instagram profile. So if you guys want to go over and give it a like, feel free to do that.
it's on there. You'll see it. Like I say, it's looking at it on this picture. Yeah, I can also say I think I've seen more colour in an albino. You know what I mean? There's it's really lacking in colour, but I did my best, Dave. Client were happy with it. Walked out. Right. Well, they didn't walk out. I threw them out after the pain, but you know what I mean. It's fine.
They didn't tip you, did they? Those dirty run.
I've just blocked them on social media so they can't moan at me. So job's a good one. You know what I mean? That's what you're supposed to do as a tattoo artist, isn't it?
That's it. You got to get creative. If they brought you in a piece, you can't just duplicate that. You have to, put your flair on it. Yeah. And I see what you did here. I see what you did, Andy. And real classy stuff here.
Yeah, that's where that square line across top of his Wolverine's mouth, I thought just set it off. You know what I mean? He's no shape to
Yeah.
the face. I just cut straight across his face, and
Hey, when in doubt, cut it
yeah,
out, right?
I just don't think I just don't think I was feeling it that day. I think I only give it 85% instead of 100. You know.
Oh, that's it. It's just missing that 15%, I think. I like
Yeah,
somebody
that's what it
said,
is.
what about the white tongue? You know, that is something. You know, when your tongue matches your teeth and your bottom lip, are the lips white? What's going on here? I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't imagine. Couldn't imagine. This is what we're trying to avoid, guys. If you're new here, we just don't want this sort of thing to happen. We give this a hard time. We rag on this because this. I hate to say it deserves to be ragged on because somebody did this to somebody else, and hopefully set the tone. That's not cool, guys. It's not cool. All right. All right. Welcome everybody in the chat, guys. If you got any questions, tattoo related questions, throw them in the chat. Periodically, me and Andy will stop if we see a question we think is, decent. Maybe other people have the same question or whatnot, and we'll give our 2 cents. And I guarantee the chat will also chime in and give their 2 cents. And yeah, we're here to help you guys out and to avoid this sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, on a side note, just quickly chirping that we do appreciate everybody sending the work in. And like Dave says, we had only 2 regular tattooists that just enjoy tattooing. And we will point out what faults we do see in your work, but you've sent the work in for us to have a look at.
Yeah.
Don't get butthurt or upset or arsey if we pick stuff, wrong.
Right.
And we do see stuff with your work. Also, what I will say, this goes on something that you showed me last week off camera, Dave. The chat on the right hand side, it's all adult chat. We do not censor it. We do not. It looks after itself. So unfortunately, there's a lot of people in the chat, and they like to pull everybody's legs, yank each other's chain, this, that, and other. We don't censor it. We don't do anything with it. It's left to its own devices. So obviously, if we say stuff or you don't like what's in the chat, leave. Don't be sending a 4-page email to Dave crying that you've been picked on in chat, and we pulled your work to pieces. That when we went back and had a look at it, wanted pulling to pieces, and unfortunately, yes, you did get a little bit of stick.
And if you get butthurt and you send something in and you don't like what I have to say, again, we're just 2 people. Forget our opinions. In the end of the day, it's just opinions. Yep. You don't like it, you don't care about it, just forget it. Move on. There's only the world goes on, right? But again, I'm not going to go back into the live stream after the fact and delete the part where your piece was there. No, you send it in. This is what it is. Okay. If the chat says, hey, they don't like it or whatever, so be it. Move on, learn from it. If I quit or got upset every time somebody said I sucked or it's your blah blah blah, I've been done a long time ago. You let that feed you, push you, move forward, or you go, all right, same for me, I'm out. I've done so many things and I've had to sum it up like that. Okay, it's same for me, I'm out. Yeah, you're right there, Josh. If they don't like it, they shouldn't have sent it in.
Exactly.
Okay? Absolutely.
And like I say, we let it run. It's free chat down right hand side, as long as it's semi-respectful and there's no bullying, no race, no crap about like that, then albeit it's just adult chat, adult tattoo talk.
Yeah, definitely. Well, without further ado, Andy, let's jump over to the what we got here. All right, what time is it? Bam, 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 bam. We got to come back down here to right here. Our first one is Snake Eyes. Are you guys ready? Are we ready to see what this evening has to offer us? Here we go. Okay, dokie. And mind you guys, sometimes me and Andy have talked afterwards. Sometimes we don't even know what to say sometimes. And it's not even a bad thing. It's just sometimes you look at it and you're like, something's off here. I don't know what it is. Sometimes, it can take a while to really look at something to figure it out. But nonetheless, I did this all 3 months ago. The first 3 tattoos that I sent are recently. Thank you for the great CC. I really appreciate it. Love you all. All right, Snake Eyes. I did this all 3 months ago. Okay, so you did these 3 months ago. Let's take a look. All righty. Let's soak it in here for a second.
Well, what I'm going to say.
Go ahead, Andy.
What I'm going to say is I'm looking at the right-hand side piece, the left-hand side piece. I'm assuming that the left-hand side piece is his reference.
Right, right.
The right-hand side piece, and I can see faults, e.g., just let's, for a start, the thing that really, really jumps out, the right-hand side of the frame, it's not, that gap has got to be, you know, consistent all the way around. You can see where it goes and it dips in and then fattens out round, you know, the bottom.
Yeah.
But other than that, what I will say, it's very, very true to the reference. But this piece, but on the flip side, what I will say, this piece is definitely 100% a colour piece all day long. It hasn't translated into this style of black and grey very well. But that's the artistic choice or style that that this person's picked. But other than that, looking round it, I mean, looking at some of the lines, left-hand side at collar where it's pulled that long curved swoop line, that's a nice line. Lines over, you know, bibs and braces, they look to be nice lines. The little swallow on the forehead looks to be just nicely done, as if it looks like an old tattoo. I just think it missed the mark with the shading on this, me personally.
Yeah, Andy, I'll chime in here, and I agree with you 100%. I really like the line weights in this thing, where there are lines. A couple aren't perfect, yet, but you're on practice skin, and for the most part, it's all right. I definitely agree that this is meant to be a color tattoo, but it's cool to see it in a black and gray. The hair is good. We took some time and really took the time on these lines. Majority of them are pretty nice. Like you said, I really like that little sparrow, man. It's nice, real small. They used proper line weight. They didn't try to go in there with the same thickness. The line weight is my favorite part of this tattoo. The eyes are correct, in my opinion, right? But I'm with you, man. I think the shading, while in some spots is pretty nice. Like I like this black that comes up on the strap here. You know, the little bit here in the tattoo machine, it's enough. It works. But like a little bit in the face seems like it needs a little bit more value. And then obviously in the background. But overall, I think it's a nice piece. I think for they're doing all right. I got no complaints here, really.
No.
Let's check out the next one. Aha. All right. Let's see here. Well, I think the person's definitely getting the shading figured out, right? The different values. I quite like the lips, actually. They took their time and really put in every little kind of the shading spot. They didn't try to get too quick with it. The eyes as well, specifically this eye, I prefer. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the eyes are kind of throwing me off a little bit, but it could just be me. The reference sometimes isn't always the greatest, but overall I think it's a pretty nice piece. It could have gotten a little bit more black where you could find it at, or maybe even ump the contrast a little bit in some spots. Sometimes I'll take my reference, I'll throw it into Procreate, and I'll decide, even though like under the chin might not be black, I'll mess with it. I'll add a little bit darker there because I want to try to frame certain spots. I want to try to build a little bit more contrast, even where there isn't as much. And I think you should feel free to do that at times, to monkey with the reference a little bit and use your own, you know, the best you can to get it the most contrastish if possible, because that's what sells in black and gray on the skin. But overall, I think it's a nice piece, Andy. I'll pass it off to you, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like this piece. It's a nice piece. We've got some good contrast. I like where they've come in just over top and on chin and tried to get that. They've just got that little bit of extra texture, as if it's got a little bit of, you know, a bit of like stubble growth, you know, coming through.
Yeah.
I like how he's taken done the little cupid's bow over the top of the lip, where a lot of people will just go bang, 2 straight lines, and it's not always 2 straight lines. You can see where he's got the little indentation. I like the lips. The hair suits this one, and yeah, maybe work on softening his style of shading. He's definitely getting there with the shading, but just just smoothing his transitions between tones. But I like this piece. Nice piece.
Yeah,
Well
I'm
done.
with you, man. And again, the size, I like that they do the tattoo machine there so we can get a gist of the size as well.
Yeah.
And we got The Rock. Yeah, I quite like this. It's I guess, and it is tricky tattooing fake skin. I know a lot of people in the chat will agree with that if you have, and you tend to get a little bit of this sort of like patchy kind of shading in fake skin. So it definitely takes a bit of work to get that soft smoothness, because I think some of this could be a little bit smoother. But again, I think we see that more so on the fake skin because it shows a bit more of that. And maybe having a little more soft back behind the fake skin will, in my opinion, help you out a little bit with that smoother shading on fake skin. The other thing is you went kind of bold with a lot of these creases and just ran kind of like a harder lines through there. I think you'd be better off if you kind of shaded that black in a little bit more, or kind of allowed yourself to wisp it in there, move the mag up and down a little bit. It can be tempting to want to really jump in there with that liner and hard line some of those creases and the eyes or whatnot. You don't want to lose the stencil, because I'm looking at these teeth and those lips and going, man, fantastic. You didn't have to hard line certain things. And if it was a stylistic choice, then so be it. I think it's cool as well. But I'll pass it off to you, Andy. That's pretty much all I got to say.
You pretty much spot on. I mean, his lips, his teeth, love it. I mean, what the TV that I'm looking at on, maybe just over his top lip, some of that detail, maybe a little bit too black, as it's just dots, just gone in. But my main thing is with you. I mean, I like this piece. My main thing is you. He's lined the creases before he's tried to shade them, and you can see that harsh dark line. And I'll be honest, and I know we're bang on about lines,
yeah,
but it's got such a good line over the top of the head and round the jaw. There is this black line that it stands out. That I think this would have lent itself, same with the creases, to maybe a slightly lighter tone than black, and maybe a sketched in line rather than this super crisp bold line that he's done. And this, what's weird is, unfortunately, I'm saying this about this super hard, super dark black line round the head and in the creases, and generally it's the other way around. We're saying to people, well, your line's a bit weak, you need to put a bold black line in, this, that, and other. I just think it could have just been a little bit softer in the creases. And even if he could have lined it with a grey, you know what I mean? And it wouldn't have been, you'd have still seen it, but it wouldn't have been as harsh and in your face.
Absolutely. But overall, man, as we all can all see, you got it when it comes to what you're doing right here. It's just keep at it, man. These are just things that, other people see, and we can try to point you in a direction, but you're going there, man. It's looking awesome. Steven is up next. Nowhere near perfect, but still working on line work. So hard to get rid of shakes, but I can feel progress every time I sit down and practice. That's awesome, man. Got my hands on some pig skin this week. Definitely acts differently than fake skins, but I figure the more stuff I can get my hands on, the better off I will be. Thank you so much for what you are doing here. This is invaluable service. My tattoo will be better, faster because of you. That's awesome, man. That's exactly why we do it. And I think you bring up a good point there. You tattooed you got yourself some pig skin. You said it's not the same as fake skin, and maybe it's not the same as real skin, but the more comfortable you can get with tattooing different surfaces, different materials, if you will. I mean, don't go crazy, but the more you'll be able to quickly adjust fire, because you'll learn what things are supposed to look like. You'll know that's not working on this pig skin. I need to run faster. I need to do this. I need to do that. So when you get on human skin, every human skin is a little different. So you can't rely on being like, oh yeah, I always throw my needles out this much. I always run this fast. I always do this. Every human skin is different. So that's good practice in general, just getting comfortable with different materials. So it'll get you ready to fight the good fight. All right, let's see. I'm going to scroll across here. Well, we got 2 pieces. All right, jump in here. Well, Andy, what I appreciate and I think is cool is I like the style, because it's got variation of line weights, even though
Yeah.
I mean some are built up and some aren't perfect and whatnot. But right off the bat, it's fun to see somebody messing around with visuals with line weights, you know, and saturating blacks over here, practicing lines. It's cool. I definitely see the imperfections, but
Yeah, and I
overall,
mean,
not too
but
bad.
again, I mean, the saturation in the hat, the black saturation in the hat and the skull's eyes, it's there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One thing I am going to say is having problems with shakes, and right, I would say exactly the same.
Mm,
No matter what I did, this, that, and other, man, I could just never just seem to get that last little bit, you know, a shakiness off it. And
right.
even with the breathing, because you got to breathe while you're pulling lines, because if you hold your breath, believe it or not, it makes your line shakier, and all of a sudden you're not really, you're like that, and you can move. All I'll say to you is wrap something round your grip. Have a lot fatter grip, because what I found, as soon as I fatten my grip right up, it steadied your hand right up.
Yeah.
Bigger, fatter grip on your machine if you're struggling, and that's obviously as long as it's not too big for your hand, it's still got to feel comfortable in your hand. Steadies your hand right up, because your fingers and everything are wrapped around it, and you try to hold it. So if you go try yourself a fatter grip. I run with my machine and my grip on. My grip's going to be what, 2.5, 3 inches in diameter. You know, is where I grip hold of on machine. Anything smaller than that, I just won't be able to line worth crap.
Yeah, I know for me, I wrap an entire I mean, I know you could put a paper towel underneath it, the full paper towel, and wrap that up in sports wrap or whatever you want, or just get the bigger grips for your machine. But I use an entire uh, sports wrap on each machine, and
Actually,
it's about right. I know some people like them a little thicker, but yeah, I prefer that as well. I think it just helps stabilize your hand. I know not doesn't work for everybody, but nothing works for
but
everybody.
actually, Dave, pipe. You know that foam pipe insulation that's split outside, and it's
Yeah,
got the
yeah.
yeah. Well, I have some 22 mil diameter in middle, which is like an inch diameter in middle, and then it's just over half an inch wall thickness, and I cut it into 50 mil lengths. Goes around machine, tape it, and then wrap it. Wrap it with
Ooh.
grip tape, and it also takes. You get a little bit of soft cushioniness, and it also takes that last little bit of vibration out of your machine.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't know about where you are. We buy them in 1 meter lengths.
Yeah, that's
So
about right. Yep. And
yeah,
it's
we
got
buy them
like
in a
a
meter
cool
length.
tape on it too. Like it sticks together.
Yeah, so I cut them into 2 inch sections, which I find is just right. So you're getting like 20 lengths, 20 grips
Oh, that's not
out of.
bad.
And I tell you what, I've been using honestly, Dave, I've been using it for years, and I couldn't do. You know what I mean? I couldn't do without it now. I just go around, put a piece of tape on it, to keep it, because you've got to
Yeah.
like crunch it close, put a bit of tape on it, and then just wrap your grip tape around it. And then you roll a grip tape, then it probably does 4 setups.
That's not bad. Yeah, because I don't know. I'm sure you can get it from different places. I order my grip tape off Amazon, and I
So do I.
can't even remember. I think it's like 25 rolls for like $20 or something like that. It's not the
Yeah.
cheapest. It is like close to maybe 75 cents, $1 a roll. So yeah, that's not bad either. That's not bad. And sometimes I will wrap a couple machines for each tattoo, so it adds up. I used to think in the beginning, like, what are these people complaining about? What is it? $1 for a wrap and this and that. You do it enough, man. It adds up. It feels like you're
Yeah.
ordering this stuff every, well, you are. You got to maintain an inventory of supplies, so you are constantly ordering. Well, this is
Yeah.
nice because he put fake skin next to a chunk of pig skin. And yes, this is good practice for you, man. You can really start to see the difference from that fake skin to the pig skin, and just gives you a heads up, an idea of what kind of struggles you might be looking at when maybe transitioning to human skin, because it's just different, right? and you can see some of the imperfections here, but keep doing this. Don't be in a rush. I don't think if somebody were to send me this and say, hey, am I ready to go tattoo human skin? I'd say no. I'd say don't rush it. I don't think you're ready. I think you're going to be bummed and you're going to be set back by the outcome. I would keep working on it until it's perfect, until it's really as good as you can get. And I know you can get this better. While these lines are not bad, right? They are not bad for however long you've been at it. But the blacks definitely need to be saturated more. The lines need to be consistently straight on fake skin. You want to get rid of those jitters like Andy was talking about. Or you want to try your best to get rid of those before you hit human skin. But I like what you're doing, man. I like it. Ba-da-da-da. We got Lee is up next. Yes, Jester, you could absolutely add a paper towel underneath as well and wrap that. It's a good way to do it also. I know there's a lot of different ways. In fact, this is a good conversation here, Andy. I like hearing about it, and I actually really like what you do, Andy. I never thought about that. Could save me a little bit. I trifold paper towels. Yes, there seems to be a lot of people like to do that. But yeah, share in the chat, guys. If you got other ways you do it, let people know. It's always cool to hear something new. So this is from Lee. This is his first attempt at the Chicano style. Mind the hair. No, that's a mess. Something I need to really practice at to get a sense of flow and whatnot. Yeah, hair is still to this day a thing that is tricky. It's tricky. I'll slow down. You want to rush the hair, but the hair must be respected. All right, let's take a look here. Okay. I'll do like the Q2, my friends. A solid, decent machine. But I think we might be biting off a bit more than we can chew here. The lining is not great, right? We got a bunch of lines here that are just kind of a bit The eyes, I like what you're doing. I see what you're trying to do. It's not really hitting the mark here. The shading you have, it's okay. We have some shape here, but I would try to work on getting a little more value out of it. I think you should probably work on fundamentals, and I'm not saying that you can't do this. It's just it's going to be way better off. I'm trying to agree that to work on lines, to work on some packing, you might like to work on faces, might be your thing, or you like realistic sort of things. I do too, and I finally am able to do some of that, but I'm still struggle at it. But for the longest time, I just did lines and pack black and learn to pack color and then try to do some shading. So maybe try some of that before you push this too much for. I don't know, Andy. What are you thinking, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say, I'm looking at the lines, predominantly looking at the lines, in the eyeballs. They're not in. Them lines are not in. And eyelashes, I mean, I'm sure, is it Jeremy that's in here that I get on about, and that about it's like eyelashes, 3 round line, just flick them out, just curve and flick them out, but they're not in. And you can see the graininess in the shading. It's just not there. And I'm with you. I think this person should be just working on basic fundamentals to start with. Even in the mask, you look at the parallel lines that come down the left-hand side. They're not parallel. They come in the dip in. It's all the little things. You take all these little bits of everything and put it all together. And unfortunately, this is what happens. And this is why we bang on about keeping them small, keeping them simple to start with, working on fundamentals, and that. And this person needs to keep going, but dial it back, work on your fundamental. Learn to put a proper line in. Yeah. Even if it's just doing circles, triangles, squares, boxes, then go back to them, and you can work some shading in just off corners and to make them 3-dimensional or whatever. I know it might sound like crap, but this is what you need to be doing. Yeah,
I agree with you, man. But again, sometimes you got to know. You got to send it in and go, is this cool? Is this not? Because again, we create stuff. We're like, that's cool. Is it? And you can still be proud of yourself and realize that you still got a lot of work to do, That's what it is, Lee, man. It's just work. Just work. Put it in the hours, man. Thanks for sending that in. Thanks for letting us check it out. And thanks for letting us give you, our thoughts, man. That's what it's all about. I have so much respect for a lot of these people here that we've had who say, you know what? I hear you. I get it. No harm,
Cool.
no foul. Thank you. I'm gonna do better. And then a lot of times we do see them get better. Not the next
Yeah.
one. The next one, it's like, hey man, similar to your last time, little this, little that. And then the next one, it's slow. It's like going to the gym. You don't go to the gym running 3 miles on a treadmill and freaking go, all right, I'm done. No, it's constant.
Yeah.
Josh,
Like I
hey there,
say,
really appreciate what's
you
that,
get a
Andy?
few, Dave, that don't take your advice, you know what I mean? And they just seem to be
Yeah.
going backwards, you know, like, you know what I mean? Just like Joey and Jeremy and Out You Later and that, they just don't listen to us, and they're
Oh,
just getting worse, mate. They're just really, really getting worse, you know what I mean?
I
It's,
know. I've been thinking we should start censoring some of these pieces. You know.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Uh,
It's like,
I mean, it's bad enough we got to deal with them in the chat,
but
let alone
it's
they
like
got
I
to
say,
look at their work, smooth
yeah,
shading and crisp lines. Get out of here.
like I say,
Uh, but we suffer through.
yeah.
Well, Josh, hey there. Really appreciate what you're doing here. Love how the tattoo community is so helpful. They are nowadays. I can't figure out which I need to change my hand speed or voltage. How can I know? Most of the time, it's slow everything down. Slow the machine down, slow your hand down most of the time. At least that seems to be my own struggle and what I've helped other people. Here are some recent fake skins I've done. Da, 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 da. It's morphing time. What's a joke? Oh gosh. Hey guys, if you think we're talking crap to people, then you got to come more often. Then you'll understand, who we're talking to.
We, then
What's that, Andy? I'm sorry.
they'll understand that. Then they'll understand that we are talking crap as well.
Right, right. It's a mixture of both. Confusing. All right. Well, it's on practice skin. That is a good thing, right? And this isn't the greatest practice skin, but it's practice skin. Um, this rose definitely has that sort of like cabbage feel to it because the shading's not really doing anything for it. This shading over here on this section, it's shaded like it's like a spoon or something. Like I should be able to grab it, right? So you got to think about what we're doing with the shading we're putting in there. I don't just want to put it places because then it gives weird shape to things that shouldn't be that way. If you're casting a shadow, you got to make it look like a shadow and not a curve. But the lining, I see what you're doing here, some of these, but definitely would just not worry. Again, we say this a lot, broken record stuff. Don't worry so much about trying to shade things or color pack things in the beginning, learning. It can be tempting, right, Andy, to want to do
Yeah,
everything,
like I
but a
say,
lot. Go ahead, Andy.
just wanting to smash a Picasso out straight away.
Right,
But
right.
first off, before it starts changing his hand speed and voltage, get some decent fake skin, because no matter what you do, punching into this crap, whether you're changing your hand speed or voltage, you bring your head against a brick wall. But get some decent fake skin, work on some smaller pieces, because some of the lines look half right and some of the lines look like they've just been banged in, and
Gone over a
gone
few
over, gone
times.
back, gone over, gone back. And I wouldn't, like Dave says, don't worry about the shading at the minute. Practice your line work and practice some of your artistry as well. Because unfortunately, I know it's a rose and I'm assuming that they're supposed to be butterflies down at bottom, but your artistry and your art skills need honing a little bit. It looks a bit, center of that rose looks a bit spirally, swirly,
Yeah, and that shading's not really presenting this like inward thing. There's no depth in this thing. And shall we see what else we have here? Okay, all right. They put the reference next to it. Is this? It's kind of okay. Interesting. I'm
But
not sure what's going on. It looks like it's on a piece of cardboard, but who cares? Whatever. It's a reference. Again, the shading is better here. Like at least there's some sort of like gradation going on here, whether it just be a hand control thing. But the lining throughout the whole thing is double banged and triple banged and missed on several. If you're going to do that, you gotta be careful and know what you're doing. The face here, this whatever's happening here, is that on the reference? Okay, I think you just had a poor reference as well because that that skull just looks a bit jacked from the get-go. So when you duplicate it, remember, if it's jacked on paper, it's going to be jacked on fake skin. It's going to be jacked on human skin. Try using a different needle grouping. It looks like you're using, I don't know, maybe it's just a bit too small. If you're starting off, try to use a bit of a larger needle grouping. It's going to just hide a little bit more of the wiggles and what have you in your lining, and it's going to help build your confidence, get you a little more comfortable. And then as you progress, maybe you drop the liner down and get comfortable with smaller needle groupings, because even where you're packing black, it's just a bit weak, huh? But that's about all I got. Anything there?
Yeah, I mean, if you zoom out, I mean, the fault starts here with a stencil. If you haven't got a good stencil, you're screwed from off. You are screwed from off if you haven't got a good stencil. E.g., whether it's done with a computer, whether it's done with an iPad, or whether it's done by hand, if you've got a bum line in that stencil, whether it be wobbly, missing, wrong place, whatever, and you stencil it on and you tattoo it, you've screwed the pooch. The pooch is screwed. So what I can see from this is, like you said, it looks to be on a bit of card. I don't even know if he's used any stencil paper, or whether he's free-handed this on, or whether he's used a pen, pencil, or whatever to put this on. But that's his stencil, that's his reference, and you're pulling lines like that with a pencil or a pen, you're screwed in skin.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, let's zoom in on that. Yeah, good point, Andy. Let's take a look, especially on these wings. I mean, if that, like you said, if that's what you're getting with the pen, it's not going to get better with the tattoo machine.
No, it's not. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to exacerbate the thing. I mean, and it's going to get worse. So you must always, your stencil is your roadmap, and it's your key to success.
Definitely.
Like I said, so that is where everything starts. And if it's screwed up and it's wrong and you haven't got a good stencil, I don't know about you, Dave.
Sure.
You put a stencil on somebody, you could have the best stencil in the world and it look great. But if you put it on them and you don't feel that stencil's gone on that skin strong enough, I don't know about you, I wipe it off and put another one on.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Not worth it at all. And here's the thing. Let's say, good point. Putting the stencil on is vital part, period, to me. I was in somewhere I was reading, and people were freaking out because they were like, I've never had a tattoo artist put a stencil on, and then he waited 10 minutes before he tattooed me beforehand. I don't understand what, I thought, boy, if this is from a customer's point of view, not a customer I've ever had, but on a thing. And I thought, it's weird that people just, and then everybody in the chat was like, yeah, my artist, he puts the stencil on, peels off, and just goes right to town. I don't know why they would wait. That's, blah, blah, blah. I do. I literally wait till the stencil goes on. That's such an important part. And I think anybody who does this regularly knows, if that stencil is not right, it's not the way you want it, wipe it off and do it again. It's the foundation of the tattoo. So if it's going to run away on you while you're tattooing, I wouldn't even want to deal with the stress of it. I haven't had a tattoo fade away on me in so long. And that's because I take the proper precaution when I put the stencil on, right? And give it time, clean the skin, prep the skin, put the stencil on the skin, take the time in the front end to ensure you have the best outcome possible, right? A lot of times what I actually struggle with is trying to get the stencil to go away, especially on smaller pieces where there's a bit of purple. Sometimes that stencil won't go away. I'll actually wipe some of it off in the beginning, but we can go, that's for another day. But yeah, it's vitally important. I think we get a little hasty when it comes to stenciling sometimes. All right. All right, moving on to the next one. Okay, well, this is pretty much the same exact thing. This might even be the first piece he did. I don't know, because I think this is regressing if it were, or this skin is definitely torn. You can see where it's gone a bit too hard, a bit too strong, kind of cutting through the piece. So definitely just work online. You don't have to make Picassos. You don't have to make pieces. Just do these dice down here. Just do these dice a bunch of times till they're crisp and nice. And then maybe work on, pack that black in those little dots real nice on those dice. And then maybe work on do another set of dice, work on maybe shading those dice. but you're not doing yourself any favors by doing entire pieces when all of it's a kind of a mess, right? There's nothing here that's really worth a dang. Did you learn anything from it? Maybe, but nothing that you can really walk away going, aha. But anyhow, that's my thoughts on it. All right.
Like I said, there's no redeeming feature on that one.
Yeah. I mean, it's same here. I mean, I see you got some simple shading going on. That's cool. But again, I mean, there's no artistry here. You got to work on paper first. Again, if this looked anything like this on paper, then you already know it's going to look equal to or less than on fake skin. And if it's not perfect, if it's not looking really good on fake skin, it's not going to be anywhere near that on human skin, right? So there's a process. Get it good on paper, get it good on fake skin, and then transfer. And as Joey and many others saying, like, look, once you get on human skin, it's a bit dangerous to go back to fake skin other than just maybe messing around, other than just, getting comfortable with some techniques or whatnot, because it is different, but it is beneficial to get a whole bunch of stuff out of the way on fake skin before transitioning.
See, the other thing I say as well is it's counterproductive and detrimental to your tattooing career to spend too long on fake skin once you get to a certain point.
That's true.
Because what happens then is, because like we said before, it doesn't hardly take any stretching, it doesn't bleed, it doesn't move, it doesn't breathe, you can't chew it up or anything. It takes a lot more punishment than normal skin. So you get super comfortable doing all this great work and all this delicate work and chasing a perfect line, a perfect dot, a perfect finish, to the point that you're staying on fake skin for so long that when you reach it, that when you jump on human skin and it acts nothing like you expect it to, that you feel like you've regressed back by 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. Then you get disheartened and you go back to your comfort zone of fake skin, which is then it's working against your tattoo career. That's not what it's about. You get your fundamentals, you get to a certain stage, then you start going on to human skin. And for every one that you may do on real skin, you need to be doing 2, 3, 4 on human skin, coming back and then transferring over to a point that you're on human skin. It's not going to work. It doesn't line like fake skin. Human skin doesn't. You can get a 99.9% perfect line in fake skin. Try do that on human skin. It's really, really going to be hard to do. So if you're striving for it on human skin and that's what you're waiting for, well, unfortunately, I'm still waiting for the same thing.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people were asking, still talking about the stencil. I'm pretty passionate about the way I do my stenciling. What I like to do is before I even shave the skin, I'm sure this is, probably pretty regular practice for most, but I will clean the skin with some isopropyl alcohol, if I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah. Okay. I'll clean it first. Don't shave it. Don't shave it yet. Just, you want to get all the oils, all the crap off their skin, right? Isopropyl. Wipe that down real good. Then I take some green soap, paper towel, razor blade, boom, 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 green soap, shink, 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 with sound effects and all. Shave the skin off, right? Then I dry the skin real good. I want to dry. Take my stencil, kind of lay it on there, put a piece of tape at the top, get it where I want it, mark the bottom, good, 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 hold it up, I use stencil, not stencil, anchored nowadays on the skin, boom, good amount, wipe it on, and I'm rubbing it. They're getting a little massage, right? They're getting a little feel good before things go down, right? Boom, 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 wipe, wipe, rubbing the stencil solution into the skin. And then I'll kind of wipe, if there's a little bit, I'll have paper towel, wipe a little off, kind of boom. I want it like tacky on the drier side of the road, right? You have that wet side. I don't want it wet because when I lay that down, my stencil is going to smear a little bit. It's going to run a little bit. I want it crisp. So I kind of want it tacky on the drier side of anything tacky. Boom. Get it. Line my things up, lay it down, push, hold on it for about 30 seconds or less. let it sit there, kind of push it, slowly peel it up, checking to make sure as I peel it up, boom, 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 comes off. I like the stencil. Person looks in the mirror. I like it, Dave. I say, okay, good. I'm going to pour my ink now. I'm going to grab my needles because at this point I can see it on the skin. I'm going, okay, yeah, I want a 5-round shader, 5-round liner. Okay, a 7 mag and a 15 mag. All right, let me go. Boom, pour my inks out, grab the needles. By that time, it's been about 10 minutes. I'm BSing with the client, getting everything set up, get my towels ready, right? I'm not just sitting there staring at them for 10 minutes. I'm finalizing things, and then we're ready to go. And that usually works out pretty good, right? So anyhow,
well, it's pretty much, it's funny because I'm pretty much same as you, Dave, you know, putting it on, but they're just little things. I mean, I've found over time, the key thing for me is, like you say, is make sure you clean the skin down. Either run it down once or run it down twice with isopropyl, 70% isopropyl alcohol.
Yeah, I use that. That's 70. Yep.
That takes the oils out and everything. Dries the skin up, because otherwise, no matter what you do, like you say, your stencil may not anchor to the skin with all them oils in it properly. Then the difference is I'm same as you. I use anchored, and I find it brilliant. But what I do is I'll get one layer, I'll rub it in right into the skin, and I'll virtually let that dry. And then I'll get a tiny little bit more on, not as much as first time, a tiny little bit more, put another layer on, let that tack up, and then I'll do the same as you, press on. And then what I do is, instead of just pushing it with my hand, I fold some tissue up and put the tissue over it, so it puts pressure all over it in one, you know, that way. And then, like I said, just peel it off. But I found the key ingredient for me for a long stencil is good wash down with isopropyl alcohol. You know, get them oils out.
Yeah, that's big, man. That's big.
Yeah.
There's a few times, just I think once this week, where I had, you know, you get moving, you just kind of like green soap, start shaving it, and once you shave, don't go throwing isopropyl alcohol in there then, because that's just gonna burn. You just gotta, I just clean it as good as I can with the green soap and move on. But I notice a big difference when I do and when I don't. It just, you know, you get all that crap out of the skin. It just makes a big difference. But there's plenty of ways to do it. Listen to people in the chat. They're going to share other ways to do it. I just figured, since we were talking about it, why not discuss it? Somebody said, can you make a YouTube short about that? I'm sure I could. Maybe I will. I don't know. That's why you got to be here at the live, so we can all discuss this stuff and you can hear what other people are doing, you know.
Just a quick question. I know I let us put it comment. She uses Electrum Gold. Much better for her stencil for me, and it only needs a bit of rub. That could be because she said something earlier that about stencils anchoring. If you don't rub it and massage it well into the skin, so it's actually in the pores, and saturated into the skin, that when you put your stencil on, the transfer of the purple pigment won't go deep enough into that person's skin. It won't get transferred far enough in to stain it, to keep it there.
Yes. And if similar to what Joey I have up here, as Joey was talking about here, is sometimes, depending on the piece, if I know like there's a lot of purple or there's spots that are black and I happen to just leave them purple to represent, pack it in black, that can be a lot. So in those cases, I will also take a paper towel, damp it down, put it on the portion and peel it off, and it will pull some of the stencil up. But like you said, don't take it again and put it back on there and do it again, because then you're going to apply more stencil and then it's going to be a double print. It's going to get weird. But yeah, the more comfortable you get with applying them and working with them, the better you will be. And then obviously, when the first 10 minutes, just dab the ink off, run your lines, dab the ink off, until as you get going, you can start wiping a little bit, because as you're working, this stencil up here is drying while you're working here. So by the time you get up to, you know, about 30 minutes in, depending on how big the piece is, the stencil is usually pretty solid at that point. But, all right, Andy, I'm going to jump to the next one and let you handle it. And then I have to use the restroom. So Bradley is up next. Okay, this is different, so maybe I'll hold it for a second. Hey, Dave, Bradley here. I wasn't very far into my tattoo journey on facing before I realized I needed to back up and work on the very basics, so I went back to working on other mediums. Here are a few pieces I've done recently. I pulled them from a flash book I have. I feel like I'm having a hard time understanding light, shadow, shading. Any tips and advice is much appreciated. All right, I'm just going to scroll through these real quick, Andy, and you tell me which one you want to stop on. If you want to just.
So I'm guessing these aren't tattoo. These are done on some sort of
or some.
They're either done on an iPad. And to be honest, let's go to. I mean,
there's not a lot to work with here or really talk about.
No, there's not. I mean, this one here. I mean, this one here, Dave. I mean, for me, it's just probably. It looks fine for what it is. What I would say is because what I can see in it, it looks like you've only used 2 tones in the colours, and we bang on, especially when you're tattooing, try to use 3 colours minimum with something like this so you can get a blend. And you're on about lights, darks, shadows. Right. Now, what looks at me for this one, it looks like the light is coming in from the right-hand side, slightly pulled out, and it's in sort of like it's in the eyeball first, which is if that's the case, that shadow and everything there would be about right. As it goes out to the end of the nose, it will go like the bluey purpley colour, but then as it gets to the end, you could have done with a lot darker colour just to give that edge of a darkness for curvature. But then where it seems to go wrong is if that's where the light's coming from, like I said, this right-hand side and pulled out a little bit, then you're on the top fin, the light wouldn't be at the back of it. It would, to me, it would be near the front of it. And the bottom fin, again, it wouldn't be on the back of it, it'd be on the front of it. And down its back would be where it is, but it'd be in the center and it'd be darker underneath and darker on top to give some curvature. And that's just where I see for the artistry. But you would have needed a third, for me, you would have needed a third color in here to pull this purpley blue off, which is a darker one.
And some black, maybe.
Yeah, or a really deep color.
And we'll take a look at this here. I don't even know if this like fits like the face.
Well, I'll let you do this one while I run to the restroom.
Yeah. All right, we'll be quick here because we mainly, and I get it, no problem. We mainly want to look at fake skins, human skins. We could really open a can of worms if we're looking at just art or something you're working on. But I don't know here. I'm not the biggest fan here of a few things. I don't really know what's going on with her body here. It looks a little funky with this arm. I would just really work on the basics, man. Like, what's up with the face here? It's not really setting well. We have a shadow here and then light here. So you would think that some stuff will be casting a shadow on this section here, and this side would be lighter. I would imagine this would be darker. You got to figure out where your light's coming from. And tattooing is fun at times because you can kind of mess with light sources. You can say a light source coming here and here, or just whatever. Sometimes look at a piece. I've done pieces where I'm like, I don't know where light source come from. This just looks cool. I'm going with it, right? But when you're practicing, you're figuring stuff out, figure out where you want that light source so that way you can figure out, yeah, maybe I'll have a shadow here because that's overcasting on that, So I would start there, right? Because, again, we have darkness where you wouldn't think there'd be darkness because if this dark up here, then there must be light shining from down here or something. So, anyhow, I would definitely focus in that regards, man. But, Bradley, thank you for sending that in, man. I hope that it helps in some way, shape, or form. All right, next up is Tyler. Let's see if Tyler wrote anything. I don't see anything written here, Tyler. So we're just going to jump in and take a look. Well, from here, I think it looks pretty cool, but let's get a little closer. All righty. Yeah, it just looks like these lines. I think you just got to slow your hand down a little bit. They just need a little bit more saturation, in my personal opinion. But then again, the thing about the brand Real Skin is sometimes it has a weird little effect. It's the best feeling, in my opinion, but it can have odd effects. Not the biggest fan of the shading you have going on here. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be dot work or whatnot. It just kind of looks like little scratchy things. Maybe you're using like a round shader and just being quick with it. It's not really reading the best to me. But from out here, it looks all right. And these lines under the eye, right? So you have the creases underneath the eye, and then you have the eyelashes that are coming down. And the eyelashes are very straight and solid and hard. And they're cross secting the creases under the eye, which is giving this like checkerboard effect, which is not really working out too good. Um, there's some spots here where the lining's not bad, right? It's not too bad. I would focus on that. Focus on that. Maybe work a little bit on shading. Remember, we don't have to make pieces per se. When practicing, you just want to get your lining all right. You want to figure out some shading. You want to figure out to pack some color or black. So it might be wiser to really just not worry so much about trying to create a piece, create a thing, but rather just try to create some lines, some crisp lines, some curved lines, do some circles, some squares, some straight lines, use bigger needles, smaller needles, work on some shading, pack some black, because again, you end up doing a bigger piece, we'll call this, and in the end, it's like, all right, it's not bad, but it's also just lacking in a lot of ways. And it leaves the overall effect going, okay. Did you learn anything? Can you go move on from this and do better? Definitely. But I would take a step back and maybe just really, really hone in on those fundamentals, because I promise you that hard work you put in there is going to pay off later. But again, just from a distance, not bad, quick glimpse. I think there's just some things you're going to want to work on that are definitely going to be beneficial to you in the long run. All right. What do we got, Andy? We got
face
Mad
tat.
Hacks. Anthony, thanks for looking. The face tattoo was nerve-wracking. Well, don't do it. If it's nerve-wracking, man, don't tattoo a face until you're like cool as a cucumber. You know what I mean? Like, it's their face. What's up, Andy?
I've got one this week. It's going up first.
Right, but it's not your. It's not. It's. I don't know how long they've been doing it for, but if you're nerve-wrackingly tattooing a face, I guess anytime you tattoo a face, the nerve should be up a little bit because we're human, and that's another human's face. But I don't know. She has 2 prior on opposite side, or wouldn't have went for it. Okay, so because they already had one, you went for it. I still wouldn't do it. Period. All right, but let's take a look at this. Okay, I mean, obviously, there's not a lot here. I don't even know what it is, but that's fine. We'll just assume this is exactly what they wanted, and it's not bad. The black seems saturated in the most spots. There's a few spots here and there. Saturating a solid black area is a patience game. Takes time. It's always overlooked, but I think this is okay, Andy. Looks a little red, but it looks okay to me.
Yeah, it is what it is
kind of thing.
I'm assuming it's some sort of symbol. It's really hard to tell because it's just pat black, and it's
right.
It's got a wobbly edge.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's take a look at this face banger. Ooh.
Oh,
what I was looking for. Ooh. This gets an oof.
Oof. Ouch.
Oof. Man.
What? I can see blowout central.
Yeah, and it's just shaky. The N, I mean, like if somebody came in like, hey man, can you fix this? I'd look at the N minus the N a bit. We can smooth. Yeah, we can do something with that. But that N, that makes the job tough. I don't know, man. I think we bit off way more than
should have at least got a 3-liner and tried to sculpt some of that out.
Yeah.
Because this is on somebody's face. It's not covered up, not unless they're going to wear a beanie hat for the rest of their life. You know what I mean? That end's blown out all over. Someone, it's super shaky. Unfortunately, and I hope this person is watching stream, unfortunately, this is jacked. And what the other thing I will say, from this angle, it does, the Nathan, and I know it's curved, doesn't seem to follow the curvature of the head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
See,
right,
you know what I
right.
mean? It seems to go up and then come round. Whereas if it's coming across here, you would have expected it just to come across and round. This is another part you see your tattooing journey is making things fit the body correctly.
Yeah.
That when the tattoo they look right.
Yeah, no, I just this is again the kind of thing we're trying to avoid here by talking about this stuff on the channel, by showing it. I mean, kudos to you for having the cojones to be like, hey, look what I did, you know, and to hear people go, shouldn't have done that. But sometimes you don't know, and hopefully other people watching will listen. Don't do it. You know, if you're learning, you're struggling, you're not happy with your tattoos 100%, just say no to a face tattoo.
Yeah,
Just say no to a neck tattoo. Just say no to a hand tattoo, right?
you've got to know your limitations.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean,
Responsibility as a tattoo artist, responsibility for that tattoo lies at you.
mhm.
Because you are permanently marking somebody. You have got to be responsible enough to know the limitations of your skills and where you are within your tattoo journey and your skill level. And unfortunately, if you're not on with face tattoos and this, that, and other, this should have been a no, no regrets.
Yeah, I mean,
Somebody been watching We Are the Millers, Joey. But yeah,
sometimes we just take on things we shouldn't, man, you know, and the clients are never the greatest. They're always going to tell you, you're like, you probably, I'm assuming you're like, you know, hey, maybe I shouldn't do this tattoo. You know, I'm just learning. You know, I'm not the greatest yet. I'm still like, nah, man, you got it. I trust you. You're my boy. You're my girl. Whatever it is, you know, just Nathan up there. You know, it's okay, fine. I'll do it. We get peer pressured into these things because the person on the other end, they have faith in you, and sometimes they might even like the tattoo, but you gotta have the eyes to see and go, dang, and learn from it. Okay, learn from it and move on. But when in doubt, just don't do it. Just don't do it. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Because then you got people like me and Andy have to tell you, hey man, shouldn't have done that. And deep down you probably knew that. You know, that's the funny thing about life is most of the bad decisions we make, deep down we knew we shouldn't have done that. At least most of the ones I do. Ricky says, my most recent tattoo on real skin. Been tattooing for about 9 months, off and on now. Still gonna do a little more work on it. All right. Okay, so he meant real skin as in the brand real skin. All right. Well, right. Just looking at it, I think this particular skull needs a little breathing room. Would you say, Andy? It's a
yeah.
bit wall to wall.
I'm just reading a comment on here.
Yeah, go ahead, man. I'll just give my thoughts on it. So it needs a little bit of room to breathe, in my opinion. I like the fact that you have different values going on here, right? We got some dark values. We even got some black that's relatively saturated. It would have been cool to get a little bit of depth in these eyes so they're not just solid black, but rather maybe add the opportunity to add a little bit of like texture or raw or something going on. I know you know what I'm talking about. If you're watching, you know what I'm saying. These teeth look a little fine, a little too perfect for a skull, in my opinion, and they kind of look like they're separated from said skull, like a set of dentures or something in there. In human skin, this suffers from a lack of some sort of a line. Now, again, you don't have to have a line, but you're going to want some sort of a bit of a darker border to hold this thing together because it's definitely going to start fading away on you in human skin. I wish you would have gone a little darker with your darks. Take that dark and push it out because you have so much mid-tones and light tones in it. It needs more darks to level it out and give you the appropriate contrast. I like the cracks you have in here. I wish there was more texture, which would have led to a little bit more believability in the the surface of the skull. The dot work here is probably the best. This is my favorite part of this. I like the mandala stuff going on here and the use of the dots to make that happen. I think maybe even again probably a little bit more black and really fade that out a bit more, in my opinion. Remember, everything is just my opinion. Say I like what you did here. I feel like this has a little bit more depth down at the bottom of these. But all right, Andy, that's
yeah. I mean, the dot work. The dot work's nice on this. It has got value of separation, from dark to lights. I just fancy that the skull could have just had some more values to push it forward and backwards with a little bit more room to breathe, you know, in certain areas. Again, like we get on about that people, and I know it's on fake skin is this, but again, I think people fall into this category that people are paying for a tattoo and having ink put in them that that they've got to cover every single square inch of that tattoo with ink, and that's not the case. You have got to leave room. You have got to leave room, you know, for it to breathe and read.
Yeah.
Right. Just seen that one that you've put on bottom of there, Dave.
Oh, with that comment, Bethany.
Yeah, and I've got another one back here. Just 1 minute, let me find it back up. And this comes from out you later. Okay, so if the person is happy, if they know you're a beginner and what you can do, then well, it's a lesson for you. Well, unfortunately, no.
Not all the time, right?
That's a bad attitude, and that's horse crap. Because it's still your responsibility to go, I'm not capable of that. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to put it on you because these things are permanent. You can't rub them off. You can't do this. You can't do that or do other. So I'm not going to do it. It's not a big case of that, especially on a face tattoo and of something like that. It's
I think that's key. And you just said there, face tattoo. You know, you might get peer pressured into something to do a tattoo. We've all been there when we're learning. But like, where's that tattoo? If they're peer pressuring you into like tattooing the top of their thigh and they're like me and they never wear shorts a day in their life, you know, you take all things into consideration. Like, all right, dude, that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get. But when someone's peer pressuring you and they're talking about a face, come on, you got to be the responsible one in the relationship.
There's another one in here, which is, so Ethan, I don't charge the people I tattoo. That way, if I mess it up, it's not like they're paid for it, but I still try my best to do a good job. That's the wrong way to look at it. Again, you don't, when you're learning, you will have and we've all said it, you will have a line of people for free that know that you're learning and putting it round, but it's not a case of that. That is, like we said, the wrong attitude to take. Again, in my eyes, in my personal eyes anyway, you should be, well, no, that's a bit beyond me. I'm only working at this standard, so I'm only doing stuff like this. Right. Yes, I will keep you in mind. We can design something and we can get it in place. But when I get to that level, yes, I will do it. But I'm not there at the minute. Whether they paid for it or not, whether you pay for something or not, it's not a case of, well, you haven't paid for it, so if I screw it up, don't moan at me.
Yeah, I see where Ethan's going, and I was the same way. But at the same time, it doesn't mean like if you tattoo on someone's face, they go, well, I didn't charge it for him. You know, obviously that's irresponsible, period. Like if you're really learning, and you shouldn't be charging them anyhow, right? Like that goes without saying. I think if you're very much just getting some fake human skin time and you're making that transition, and you're on your own trying to figure this out, you probably shouldn't be charging them, period. But you therefore should also at the same time be tattooing inside of your means. So the combination of all said things is extremely important. Let's see, what is Joey says, it's normally people that get a bargain for a tattoo that say stuff like that. You're right. And sometimes I just don't understand. People only focus so much on, well, how much was it? You know, if there was a time when I was the same way, though, early on, before I ever even tattooed, it was like, if you got a tattoo shop, then you know how to tattoo everything, probably. I mean, I just put no thought into it. But nowadays with Instagrams and Facebooks and the whole social media, everyone should be a bit more educated. So to still see people out there going, I don't know, you want what, 200? This guy down the road said he'll do it for 180. It's like, really? For $20, you're going to disregard your, what you're, I don't know, quality. It's interesting, but
just got to, like,
go ahead, Andy.
No, just let's put but you have to push yourself and try new things on someone at some point. Yes, you do.
Absolutely.
But you do, but you've still got to know your limitations. If your script work isn't on point to start with, and we're on about the script just before you even go to the face, if your script work isn't on point to start with, there's no point in tattooing somebody's forehead, somebody's arm, or somebody's ass, or whatever. If your script work's not on point, then again, if your script work is on point, but you've never tattooed a face or anywhere around the head or any dodgy areas or whatever, that's where you would say, well, I'm not comfortable doing this, for the simple reason is it's on your face. I can do script and I'll put the script anywhere else on your body, but on your face, I'm not quite comfortable being out there like that. And this is what we're trying to say. As it's not, as a tattoo artist, you've got a whole package of responsibilities that come with it, even down to the point where you're tattooing somebody's skin and they're sitting there perfect, but the skin won't take it. It's getting irritated. It's not taking ink well. They're bleeding. At some point, you've got to turn around and say to them, well, unfortunately, I can't carry on tattooing you because your skin is unable to take any further punishment. They might be able to take it pain-wise, but you've got to, this is another part you've got to understand and say to them, look, we're going to have to reschedule you because anything I do from this point onwards is going to be futile because it's either going to fall out, it's going to bleed out, you're not going to heal well or anything. And this is all the responsibilities that come with it. Being a responsible tattoo artist.
Yep.
I actually do like the topic of conversation that it's gone down today.
I do too. It's enjoyable. I know that hey, maybe some people are like, get to my tattoos. Okay, but we like to, me and Andy are here every Sunday, obviously, or we and it's fun to actually conversate while looking at tattoos because it gets old sometimes saying the same things over and over because it's like anything. There's only so many things that can be said. There's only so many times. So it's nice to look at some work, talk about some stuff. Again, if you guys got anything, bring it up. It's nice to banter back and forth and see that you guys have different outputs or ideas. We do, whatnot. But the onus is on you as the tattoo artist to have the mindset to know what you should and should not do. And if you're not sure, sometimes you got to make that decision. And it is a tricky road because like Art, you later said, some point you got to make that decision. Right. But I think the census is we just don't want to make that decision on someone's face.
Yeah.
Or on someone's hand.
Yeah. You've got to make an informed decision.
Exactly.
And a logical decision. Like me this week. I've turned one down this week. A guy sent me a full leg sleeve. Mega money. Full leg sleeve, Dave. And he wants 3 skulls. Lovely skulls of different things. But it's black and grey realism.
Yeah.
I do not do black and grey realism.
Right.
So it was a case of great leg sleeve, great idea, but unfortunately, that is not something I do. That is not a style I do. It's not I cater for. And that and I actually said to him, you're going to need somebody that specializes in black and grey realism. And they just turn around, do you know of anybody? Yes, go try here, here, and here. And I put them over to him.
Yep, I think that's it, man. That's it. And being humble enough and honest with yourself enough to go, I shouldn't, It doesn't mean Andy's never going to do black and gray reels. I mean, maybe down the road he'll get it hair up his butt and go, let me go study that and do that. Just not right now. Not right now. That's kind of how I've been about large color pieces. I'm just like taking some of the stuff people want, it's like, I better not. I don't know how to do color realism faces, It's like I'm not going to take that on until I take that on paper. I don't do, So there's just some stuff we got to say no to. I'll tell people right off the bat, like I can do that portrait for you, just not going to do that portrait in color. If you're okay with black gray, cool. If not, it's fine. You want to add some color around the face? That's fine. I am not going to go that far out of my comfort zone until I've done that on paper, and it just hasn't been done on paper for me enough. It hasn't been done on fake skin or whatever the case may be. But I will push on to this next piece, though.
Yeah, I just got to. Everybody just wants to look away from camera a minute. I've just got a quick message for Joey that thinks I should do black and grey realism, and that's that.
That looks like a peace sign.
Yeah,
nice of you. Love, Andy? Is that what you're promoting?
Yeah, something like that. World
You
peace.
really turning the leaf over there, man. Hey, Dave and Andy. My name is Matt, and I've been eating to tattoo since I was 16 years old. I'm 44 now. A little over 8 years ago, I went back into tattooing and haven't been at it consistently, but here and there, these are a couple I've done recently. Wonder how bad I did. Thanks. Only did like work because I figured shading can wait till I get better at tattooing. That is true. But if you're already saying, I wonder how bad I did, then it tells me you already know that these aren't good, right? So don't be alarmed. I'm just seeing the little squares going. I just don't know about these ones.
I'm sure this
Also,
is
if you're gonna take a photo, make sure you clean that sucker off good, man. Get it good and clean. Get that green soap on there, rub that thing down, clean it good so we can see it nicely.
I think this tattoo was done especially for smoking.
I was thinking, I was gonna say, I bet you smokers just sneaking in here like these are his tattoos.
It's
like,
just best thing is just running to the kitchen to go get his grinder. He's just stood up against the TV screen now, trying to grind it up. You know what I mean? See whether they can get see whether they can get a blunt out of it.
Oh man, yeah. Well, I don't know. It's hard to see. The photos a little bit tough to read, but I think there's just a bit of issues and consistencies with the lines, right? We had to go over some stuff. We can see the base here is a bit thicker. This bottom bit down here, this piece right here in the middle of one of the leaves, he clearly had to go over it a few times, thicken it up, and that created a much thicker line weight than the rest, which kind of pulls your eye over there, and you can only see the imperfection now because it is a bit simplistic, which is nothing wrong with that. I appreciate that. But my eye is drawn right to those thicker lines compared to some of these other a bit thinner lines. I would also encourage you to shave the skin a bit more. It looks like we got a bit more hair on here. You may have cut some down, but you can see where you were definitely fighting the actual hair in some of these spots, which can really mess the skin up a little bit from time to time and throw off your needles. Let's take a look at another one here. All right, Andy, what you? Oof.
Yeah, I mean, this one's speaking for itself, Ethan. I mean, we start at top. Let's start at top, and we're looking at that line over at top of head. It's barely in there, and it looks like it's had a couple of passes over it, and it's still not in there. So the thing is, that looks like a confidence issue to me. Instead of get in there, get it done, pull it, get them needles in there, get your machine on an angle, get it over there, pull it in, keep an eye on your line. Same with ears. Then we come a bit further down, we get into eyes, where it looks like then you've had a couple of passes around eyes, which has made the lines thicker, and there's no consistency. Again, on the hands, the left hand one, you can see that line's not in there. It's not in properly. Again, this is not getting your needles into skin, and then you're either running too fast or your machine's running too slow. This is something that you should be figuring out on fake skin, not on human skin. Because again, unfortunately, you've done this on somebody and potentially scarred them for life. Now, luckily, and I say luckily, this is just a line drawing. So these lines could be fixed up, may not exactly look how you want it to start with. Grab your 9-round shader, start when you get a bit more confident, rerun these lines in a 9-round shader. Yes, they'll be a lot bolder, but for me, I'd either run them around in a 9-round shader and then colour this piece, or some heavy black and grey, to shade it out.
Yeah, and I definitely think Joey's hitting the nail on the head here when he says the machine is running too fast. Just slow your hand down and voltage. Right, slow it all down because you're trying to work so quickly here that you're not getting a consistent needle depth. Everything's just happening so fast, in my opinion, and you're just kind of double banging stuff, doing it, not liking it, doing it again, moving. You see it a lot, especially if you watch some of the TikToks out there, which I try to steer clear of TikTok, period. But occasionally they slip in. And you see it a lot. This is the failures that people go. They just run way too fast. Slow your hand down. I'm still, like I said, still trying to slow down properly today. And it's still one of the biggest things that is going to be beneficial. Slow down. And I don't think you really need to be tattooing, human skin, not with the quality. This is jacked. I mean, it really is, my friend. I hate to say it, but it's all over the place. All over the place. There's no redeeming qualities here at all.
There's no consistency.
No, like Andy said,
unfortunately, Ethan,
it's fixable.
there's not an ounce.
Fixable.
There's not an ounce of consistency on it.
No. And then maybe don't know. And that's what we're, same here. I mean, yeah, we're doing lines, but if you're doing lines, you're saying, I'm focusing on line work. Well, it doesn't look like you focused on it at all prior to these tattoos. There's a line here or there that's like, all right. But again, this isn't a big tattoo. The movements are short. They shouldn't be this much, problems going on here. It's just not there, man. The consistency, right? And you got to figure that out. You have to figure out your consistency. You got to figure out the speed, the depth, all of that. It all looks like it's still very rudimentary right now. And you're tattooing skin and you're not really doing yourself any favors. You're not really walking away from this learning anything. Let me just jump across here, Andy, real quick. I think there are some better qualities here, but overall we're still in the same boat. Everything's still pretty much the same. Lines are either quickly put in and are faded, or they're put in way too harshly and are a bit overworked. And any other, I mean, Andy,
no, it's like this. It's like this. I get it. You see, you've covered everything with lines, but also part of it is the artistry, the actual image itself, the rose that you've chosen. It's super confusing. There's no flow to it, for a rose. This is another thing. You've got. Could you draw this on paper? Could you just look at the picture, not trace it, look at the picture and draw it, recreate the drawing, the line drawing? If the answer to that really is no, then you're going to struggle to do it on skin, because you've got to get the right choice of stencil, like we were saying earlier in the stream. Your stencil's your roadmap. So unfortunately as well is that this piece, especially for a rose, lacks artistry.
Yeah, that's it, right? It's like you gotta have it in the system, right? You gotta have some sort of artistry, some sort of, like, you can look at something and go, that should be that way, or I should change this, or whatnot. You gotta have some of that, right? You can absolutely have a little bit of it and develop it along the way, and pursue it more so, but you got to take the time in the front end and get that taken care of first.
Yeah.
But Ethan, thank you for having the cojones to send it in and take heavy criticism, and hopefully it was constructive in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, grab send some decent fake skin. Go on fake skin. You can play to your heart's content on that stuff. You're not hurting anybody. You're not marking anything. They're not going to want to quit. They're not going to want to tap out. So if it takes you 4 hours to do a small rose, so be it. As long as you learn from it. And you can see what a line looks like.
Yeah.
But like I say, just dial it back, come onto some fake skin, and you'll come along in leaps and bounds.
Yeah, and unfortunately, sometimes that means going backwards to go forwards. It's, or you're just going to keep hitting that brick wall, and eventually just give up, where you're better off to just go, all right, let me get some of this stupid fake skin that everybody talks about. And you're going to be like, this isn't like the real thing, but you're going to get so much more comfortable, and it will help you. There's plenty of people I think that can attest to that. Yeah. All right. Tony Honey. Hey guys, I done this on a friend this week. Watch more videos as it at it on fake skin every day practicing. Hope you like it. Massive improvement from the last bus crash. I know the shading. Oh my gosh, excuse me. I know the shading is off. Tony, I know that we gave you a hard time last time, and I don't recall. Unfortunately, I apologize for my lack there of memory, but I don't remember what the last one looked like. So, but I can tell you already, whoa, massive improvement. I do recall.
Well,
wow.
What I'm going to say is The butterflies look like butterflies.
Yeah, this is not bad, man. It's not bad. I think, yeah.
Or what I will say
Yeah, go ahead, man.
is,
Where's the
I'll tell you
little?
what I am going to say straight off the bat. Jesus Christ, that white's bright.
It is bright. Yeah, it is. It is
Yeah,
bright.
that
It
is
wouldn't even
bright.
start
So
bright.
this guy has definitely left open skin in them areas to put that white in. It is not lightly shaded over or black to then try to get them in. A couple of little things with butterflies that are just slightly off from one side to other.
Right,
Just
right.
watch again, which I'll bang on. Butterflies are symmetrical. The wings on butterflies are symmetrical. The patterns and everything within the wings, the vein patterns within the wings are symmetrical. So just watch for that. These arts are far off. And to be fair, they're looking a big step up. The black seems to be packed in, the white's nice. Would have personal preference like to have seen you use some more colours in the butterflies than just the three, vary up a little bit. But hey, it's a big step up, and they're not looking too bad. The drop shadows are a little bit off, I'll be honest.
Yeah, that's what my biggest thing there too was.
Yeah.
I'm not really getting from a distance. You take a quick glance and you're like, oh, okay. But if you take any more than a few seconds, you realize these drop shadows don't really make a lot of sense personally. Like I don't really understand the cutoff in some of them.
Yeah, I think
And that would be. And then I wish they would have added, Andy, just the little antennas.
yes.
The little. And then finally, I think absolutely, Andy, what would have brought this to another level is some dynamic in the colors.
Mm-hmm.
They used that one color, saturated, and then kind of whipped it out a little bit, which works. But when it heals, it's going to soften up a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the lining is all right, man. It's not too bad. I even like the script's not too bad. Big improvement from last time. Big improvement.
Them three little butterflies just don't seem to be on same. I know they're only token butterflies, but they just don't seem to be on the same caliber as the three coloured ones. I just think they could have been a little bit nicer, even if it had just had the black body down the middle instead of being open. That's my choice, but definitely a right direction taken.
Yeah,
from moved up.
for sure.
Areas that I hope that you can look at and maybe think to yourself, well, yeah, they're not completely talking crap. I
think, hey, look,
you know what I mean?
Look, you put in the time, Andy, put the effort in, and we've seen little improvements, and that's what's.
Yes. So kudos. Hats off to him. You use a bit more colours and just a little bit more attention to detail, e.g., with the colours and couple of the lines within the wings and the symmetry, and fine, no problem.
Yeah, cool, man. Congrats, Tony. Be proud of yourself today, man, and keep pushing, keep working, improve, work on the little stuff. You guys ready for some trash work here? Oh my gosh, I apologize, guys. Sometimes we have to put up with the.
We get trolled by a few people, and unfortunately, this is one of the trolls that just comes back week after week after week.
In the chat all the time. I mean, we got to deal with them. We got to deal with them.
Isn't this the person that keeps trolling you, asking you about do you do Spice Girl tattoos?
Take my work out of the emails, but they keep on working. Nah. Arch you later. Let's see what you got. Appreciate you sending work in on the reels, but let's see what's up. What's up, my best mentors? Andy pushed me to use more human skin. Good to go. So here it is, fresh. Just finished a few hours ago. Hey, you're always finishing this stuff up right before the live stream. I like it. Okay, so we got a 00 number 8 3-round liner. You've been practicing with Bug Pin 10 3-round liners on fake skin, but was a bit too big for details. That's just crazy. Number 10 3-round liner is too big. That's how you know in two different worlds when it comes to what we tattoo. Shading and inner butterfly lines are 25% and 50% of the ink, so it should heal lighter. I hope it will. Overall, quite happy, but already see where I could improve. That's really cool. That's what me and Andy talk about all the time. You guys should see some of the stuff you should improve upon. But there are times when it's really great to let somebody else look at it, because they always see stuff you don't see, and it's always eye-opening. At least when I get the opportunity to do that. Um, you know, I
Bad
think you've
angle for
used too
photo.
small of a needle grouping there.
Yes,
I think it's
especially.
starting to hurt you at times by using such a small needle. I think I would have bailed on the 00,
I'm going for
and even the 10. I would,
12.
yeah, maybe you just use a standard 3-round liner would have given you a little bit more leeway in your lining, or even a 5 number 10 bug pin. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit thicker, but it's going to help, because it looks like some of these lines. Now you're using, again, such a small liner, and it's going to show every little thing. And sometimes you're going to have to go back over things, especially around the outside of this butterfly wing here. You had to kind of go back over some spots. Maybe have a thicker liner there, have that 5-round or that 3-round liner or whatnot there to help you out when you need it. When it comes to some of the shading here from a distance, hey, look, the tattoo just like this, nice. I'm sure the person's going to love it. It's going to heal out, and some stuff's going to smooth out a little bit more. So that's a good thing. This side over here, I don't mind so much. I think it's pretty consistent. Works out okay. Sure. This wing over here is, I think, where if there's issues, it's going to be over here. Maybe a little bit more depth in some of these spots. Bring that black all the way up to some of these spots, or that dark tone, in my personal opinion. Just a bit of some inconsistencies there. But again, I'm sure you know it. And I thank you for sending this in to let it, tell you stuff you probably already see. And same here in some of this script. Again, I think the best thing to do is maybe consider using a little bit bigger of a needle grouping, or just a different, maybe a standard instead of a 00 or a number 10. All right, Andy, that's all. We just give you a little bit of a hard time there, Are You Later, because
Yeah,
we know what you're doing. We know you're
this
working
is
hard.
this is one person for me that's got themselves to a stage where they spent so much time on fake skin, that the transition over onto real skin, they're finding hard, and it's becoming that she spent so much time in a comfort zone on fake skin that it's done a little bit of damage, not being in enough, or she's not had enough time in human skin, because like you say, it don't have the butterfly wing left hand side, and I agree with you. 08, a 08 3-round liner for this piece is a way too small needle. A 12-3 or even a 10-5 tight would have sufficed, for this piece, because I look at the top of the wing and you can see where she's gone over the line, and it's wobbly, and she's fattened it over, top line over top, and then fattened it up and got it darker, and it's still got the wobbly. You come to the top edge of the wings and you can see that the lines are scratched in. I can see that them top lines are scratched in. They're very, very light. But you look at the heavier line. She's instead of taking the 08-3 out and using a 12-3 to go around the outside edge to get that slightly thicker line, so try building it up using an 08-3, and it's come out quite inconsistent, around it, some of the lines, and that instead of running it with a bigger grouping, like you said, Dave.
Yeah, I think that alone would help you out a lot.
Yes, and
it's
it would
still hard
help
to run these lines. I mean, I give you a lot of credit, because I would have the same outcome. So, but it's just so hard.
Because, like you could say, well, you try building the lines up around the outside, and with it being such a small needle, you've got the lines up, but it's almost as if the skin's chewed up while the skin's chewed up whilst you've been building it up, because it's such a small needle. It must have been like a bloody scalpel running through that skin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they are so thin. It's so
Yeah.
easy to really get your depth just right.
And then, as we say, we go on to the right hand side. There's a couple of little shaky lines, which is going to be exacerbated with the size of the needle that she's using. And like I say, hats off to the size of the needle you use. I use an 08-3, but only in where certain circumstances. There's a couple of lines that are a little bit built up, but it mainly shows, because I'll find the needle, is that T right at the beginning. Right at the beginning, it's such a big T with a fine line, with then such a small needle, it looks slightly off, you know.
Yeah.
And that, but then as you run down the script, Dave. Right, stop there.
Yep.
And then we look at these P's, and we look at the second P, that in the middle, a bit of a blowout, and it looks like it's either started and stopped, you know, and gone round it. There's a couple of, you know, where had to go in and go back out, where you naturally got to finish your hand and bring it back in. And that I think the biggest thing with this is lack of time in human skin. Too comfortable in fake skin. Not enough time in real skin, and I'm going to say it, poor needle choice.
Yeah, this is your time. Are you later? Don't go back. I mean, if you, I mean, you play around fake skin now, you don't. But
yes,
this is your time.
Still play around on fake skin.
I think it's time. You know what I mean? I think you are time to just try to push forward. Right? This person probably loves their tattoo. Right? I mean, they're looking at it from a normal perspective.
Yes.
Gonna gray. Beauty of black and gray. It heals and it smooths out even more. So again, it's gonna be fine. They're gonna like it. You might go back in a couple years and they'd be like, I still love it. And you're like, let me touch it up because I see, you know, whatever. But just move forward from here. Move forward from here. Try to get your hands on as much skin. You're ready for it. The work on fake skin is crisp. It's beautiful. Yeah. But now you have to start making that transition. Now you have to start realizing, dang it, these tiny little needles are good for some stuff. But maybe I should use different stuff for other times. Because like you said, I think you said over here, the pores are even throwing your needles off. Absolutely. Yeah. The pores do that. Some people have thicker pores. That's why I sometimes talk about hands. That's like freaking sandpaper sometimes, you know, and you can literally feel the bumps and the creases as you move along sometimes. So I think you're at that point. Push forward. Don't look back. Go forward, right? And start conquering the human skin struggles. And they're going to be similar to the fake skin struggles, but there's going to come a point where you're going to be, you know, you got it, you know, and then you're just going to learn more and progress more. And then you get it, right?
It's the only way she's going to progress now is to go onto human skin. She's got where she needs to go. She's got where she needs to go on fake skin. The only way she's going to move on forward now is to move on to human skin and get the feel for human skin, see how it works, see what needles work for where, and get comfortable and start changing all that up. And just seeing the human, how it goes into the human body, because it doesn't take the same as fake skin.
Yeah.
And what you've got to do to get it in there. And because now she's also not working on a flat surface. She's got a vertical back. You've got a curved leg. You're going to work on a chest that's going in and out like this, while you're trying to pull a line and your arms are going up and down like that. So these are the other things that she's got to work on. And like I say, me personally, yes, keep dabbling in fake skin because it's your comfort zone.
It's just good practice. It's good fun sometimes. You're going to find once you get going on human skin, you might not want to go back.
Yeah, but your time now is human skin. You know what I mean? That should be primarily where you're putting, to move forward, that should be primarily where you're putting your ink now. You are good enough. You will realize that getting a 100% perfect tattoo, it's not achievable. It is not achievable.
Yeah.
As long as you're 95%, then that's how it is, because like she said in the comments, even larger pores, running over the vein, running over the bone, you know, bony person or something like that, all affects everything. You don't have that on fake skin. And this all factors into the equation. And this is where she should be now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think everybody's on board too. Everybody's in the chat here is encouraging her to push forward, because we see what you can do on fake skin. I think you are one of the few people that have like really mastered what you like to do on fake skin, to the point where the only way to improve now is to do it on human skin and to learn. And you're learning it responsibly because there's nothing so
Yes.
bad about this tattoo, obviously. I mean, everybody
No.
loves the design. They love the way it looks. It's just those little things that are going to make you happy and make the client bit happy. Oh, here's a better photo as well. I didn't know I had 2 photos here. Hey, this photo is even better, actually. I like this photo a little bit more. We get a little bit more values here. But yeah, you can see the pores, right? Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, you got this. You got this. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have no problem getting clientele. And as you get more comfortable, you start finding needle groupings you like in the skin versus other things. It's just going to be a snowball. So good on you. Good on you. We've been waiting. We've been waiting for you
Yeah.
to start
See,
to take the human skin by the horns and just wrestle it because it's going to be a battle.
yeah, you see the other thing I think as well is you like 083s is, because they're so fine, they're so sharp, they're not taking no effort to go in that skin. Do you understand what I'm saying, Dave?
Oh yeah.
You can just touch the skin and that's dropping ink in. You start with bigger groupings, you've got to work. But part of your responsibility as a tattoo artist, like we've said, is choosing the right needle groupings. And you've got a piece like that on somebody's back, an 083, and it looks nice. I'm not distracting from that. Like you said, Dave, it's a nice piece.
Yeah. We just know what potential they have, and so we're pushing.
But for longevity of that tattoo over its life, if that person is only 20-year old or 24 and they're going to pop the clogs at 84, that's got to last 60 years in effect as that tattoo.
Yeah.
So a slightly fatter needle, a needle grouping for the longevity of that tattoo is going to be far superior.
Absolutely. So we got Jesus Soto. He says, hey, oh, it's Trucker. Oh, it's Trucker Jesus. Haven't sent anything in due to vacation, but a quick recap. I'm a truck driver. I could only practice 1 or 2 days a week. Self-taught, but tremendously researched. Here's the 3 practices I've recently done. I was trying difficult needle sizes. Okay. First 10th day, I need more practice with small needle. And also the second is 10th day, getting the hang of smaller needles. Third one is the 11th day, the first time doing hands and ever doing a face and hair. I messed up the woman's skin color due to forgetting to wash out needles from previous color tone. Yeah, that happens. All right, let's take a look at what we got here. Mm-hmm. Hey, I like where we're going here. I know I see there's some issues with some of these longer lines, but man, do I love the contrast. I like the design. I mean, overall, just looking at these pieces from here, they look banging, man. They look banging. Now we're going to get in. We're going to see some stuff. That's okay. But they look cool from here. Let's zoom in a little bit, shell away. Yeah. But what did he say 10th day? It makes me sick. My 10th day was nothing close to this.
Nope.
And I like that they can do in lines, man. A lot of lines in color packing, and they got a decent quality fake skin here. Even got a little shading going on here. I mean, are the lines perfect? No, but like good 75% of them are pretty decent, which is good.
Jesus. My
little
10th
nice
day.
shading over here. Yeah, I like it. That black saturated, those lines look consistent. They may have a little wobble here and there, but they're consistent depth-wise. I think that's cool.
Yeah, bloody hell, Dave. My 10th day in, I still have problems getting an end at cartridge in bloody needle, in ink cup. Never mind all else.
I was on the coil machine trying to figure out how to get the needle at the right depth and running, and oh my gosh. So 10 days, man. Absolutely.
I like these. These are nice. Like you said, consistent lines.
Yeah. This isn't bad either. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. These kind of pieces right here are like you can't really hide anything. It looks like this bottom line might be double banged, or maybe you intentionally want it to be thicker. It looks like it might have been double banged, but it's okay. This through here is not too shabby, right? They're keeping this consistent flow. I can't see a start and stop. Up here where the points come together, those seem to be a tricky spot here. If there's any flaws, it seems to be mainly where the points come together. So deciding if you don't want to start at a point at like the point of a flower or a petal or something and go in, because that's going to leave a bit of a blob there, which we see a little bit in a couple of these spots. So maybe just think a little harder about where you start and stop. The little moon over here is a bit off, but hey, I mean, we're what, still on 10th day here?
Yeah, 10th day. And you can see on this one, some lines, consistency on lines aren't the same because we've got some thicker, we've got some thinner. You know, like he says, if some have been double banged, they've not gone in and it's not quite passed over, line exactly the same again. And you can just see that it's given him the effect of different line weights, you know, left to right on the tattoos. Same with the bottom one. But like you say, what is it, 10 days in at this point?
Yeah, I think the next one's 11 days. This one is 11 days in. So, okay. Well, you know what? There's still some really good stuff here for 11 days, Andy. I mean, I actually, the face is not too bad. There are some things, but I think the issue is going to be, I mean, the hand's a little funky here as well, but hands we already know are tricky. It's a bit heavy, right? It's a bit overdone as far as tonnage goes. Where the face, we got a little breathability. I think you're going to want to work on trying to figure out where you can let your tattoo breathe throughout. We could have let a lot more breathing room here. We left some spots, but I just don't think it's enough. Up around the shoulder here, you would imagine there would be some sort of a light source maybe hitting it if you have a bit of a light spot here. But again, for 11 days, man, I'll let you say what you want to say, Andy. I can zoom in anywhere you want to zoom in.
Yeah, like I said, the face has got enough open skin and up open places and that for it to read. I mean, it's kept it quite simplistic, which has worked out through the hair and that. But when it goes, then it starts from the chin downwards. That's where it all seems to go sideways a little bit. It's a bit muddy,
yeah,
tonal. Again, like you just got to learn got to let it breathe, open space. Some of them knuckles would have been better off just left open, you know, some little spots open, you know, just to give that highlight. Same within the flower, just needs broken. Are the lines perfect in it? No. Are they good for 11 days? Yes.
Absolutely, man.
And like I say, it's for 11 days in, it's a bloody good tattoo, to be fair, for 11 days.
Absolutely, man. I think you're being fair, yeah.
Just needs to work on, like you said, letting it breathe, readability, honing his line working. I mean, and that's about it. If he keeps smashing along like this after 11 days, what's it going to be like in 22 days?
Yeah, we're going to have to start giving him a hard time too.
Yeah, that's it.
Calling him a troll and, you know,
that's it.
Be in the same group with a few other of these trolls over here, you know.
Yeah, another one,
but I want to encourage this person, truck driver, right? Yeah, dude, keep at it. I mean, sometimes I've seen people where we tell them like, man, it's doing good. And then next thing you know, they're tattooing human skin and hating their life. Don't do that. Don't jump to that. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep banging out fake skin. Keep refining it. But I just want to encourage you to keep doing it. You know, you definitely have it in the bag. Like you have the skill level there. You have the it's there. We can see it in just 11 days. So,
yes,
you know, months down the road, keep sending your work in, keep letting us check it out, man. Keep letting us encourage you. And I think that you got something going here. You just got to be patient and put in the time, man, because it's there. It's there. That's cool. That's cool. I get excited because I don't know. I see potential. All right, not done with the practice skin, but the other one dude moved a couple times. Look, people are going to move all the time, you know.
Don't blame it on the dude.
You can't, right? I mean, believe me, they move. I mean, they'll talk to you. That there'll be a heartbeat away from moving the arm. They're actually, you know, the hand move. Oh, boom. And you would think sometimes, like, you realize, like, I'm tattooing. You might want to, but I work around it. As soon as you just got to work around it. Ask them, hey, I'm going to be doing certain spots here. If you want to, I need you to just, you know, calm down, or you be polite about it, but you're not going to stop them from moving all the time. They're going to have flinches. Things are going to happen. So get that out of your mind as far as an excuse. All right, let's take a look at what we got here. I like the imagery. It's kind of cool what you got going on here. Even some of the shading here, this, you know, we got some gradations happening and whatnot. The lining is pretty much just really haphazard, in my opinion, with these, with the crown of thorns and the hair. Just looks a little too, not quite saturated into the skin. And I think that would have issues in the skin personally. Could be wrong, probably wrong more than I'm right. Same down here, but again, I definitely see potential here. We got this bit of nice shading here. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, like I say, I like the shading they use heavy black. I mean, I'm looking at the line that comes down off the forehead, round the eye, and under the nose. That's slammed in. That's nice. Curved nose is nice. And we you the crown of thorns. I understand it's tried to get a softer feel and a sketchier feel, but it's still, like you said, it's fine to do that. But I think this wouldn't have held in the skin properly. There would have been parts still missing, as it healed. Some of it would have come out healing. But overall, nice eyelashes. I'll just stick that one in for Jeremy. Nice eyelashes. And but overall, I think it's a nicer, pleasing piece.
Yeah.
It's aesthetic and pleasing. The artistry on it's nice.
Yeah.
I would say that 90%, 85, 90% of the execution's nice on it. There's just a couple of areas that just be careful that what I would say, like Dave has said, that maybe if it was in human skin, it wouldn't have healed and stayed there as you'd have wanted it to. So that's just something to think about, is that.
Yeah, agreed. Let's all right, let's see what we got. This is a hard picture to read and to comprehend. They're okay. Oh, so these are blowouts. Oh, I thought maybe we was doing a camouflage thing here on this Semper Fidelis, but these are blowouts, man. You got quite a few of them. This E's blown out. The bit of A's blown out. This over here is blown out. That's blown out. That's blown out. Blown out. Blown out. Blown out. And some of this stuff is not going to be there. I mean, this S is gone. The E's gone.
Yeah.
Lots of issues going on here in this one.
They are on the corpse and that. And then the other thing as well, if you come further down, Dave.
Yeah.
There. 1026, 2000. 1026, cool. Then your 2000 runs up on an angle.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's at the very bottom. So the stencil, you would imagine, would be pretty solid right there.
Yeah, so that's just something to watch. Is that as you're going across? But I agree with you there, Dave. Some of these letters are barely in the D. The top of the D in the Fidelis is hardly in there.
Yeah, they're either in or blown out, but mainly down here.
Now, and it's like the stars. You've got 3 stars up either side. The ones on the left-hand side seem to be really, really light.
Yeah,
whether it's a picture, whether it's a picture, I don't know, but they seem to be really, really light. And some of the areas of the writing looks to me.
And what I will say too is, go ahead.
If I look at the P, if you look at the P on the, that's how I would probably expect it to look.
Right.
When you look at that and you look at the rest of it round it, it doesn't quite match up. This would be an interesting one to see how it's healed out.
I really don't. I don't think that applying the white inside this banner did anything for you.
No.
It appears that you did, and maybe realized like this ain't working. The white up in here, it probably would be okay where you added it here and there as far as lasting. But as you can see, it's not as easy. It's tough, needle depths, all that. But from here to here, we needed more of this. I think you need to spend a little more time here, really refine these things. Remember I was telling you that some of these lines don't look like they're going to translate to human skin very well. We see that. Bam, right here. Quite all over the place, right? They're not transitioning. You're just tattooing the top layer skin. The needles aren't deep enough. And then when you do go for it, as you can see, they go too deep and we're blowing stuff out. So maybe you got to learn, but
I'll tell you what though.
Yeah.
The overall design and the composition of the piece, I like it. It's just the execution.
Yeah. And Semper Fi. I mean, absolutely. I got me my Marine Corps tattoo. Everybody seems to have one, One. Hey, bro, this was a cover up I did. Let me know what you guys think. Cheers. Okay, cover ups require a bit more know how and work, but let's take a look what we got. I don't know how I feel about this one. I think that there's so much more potential for this exact piece. Um, is there? Oh, you don't have the other piece. I thought maybe you'd show us what it was like versus this particular piece. I mean, I'm not saying you did it quickly, but it looks like you did it quickly. And I think what happens is sometimes you think, hey, this tattoo should take me this long, and you move along a little bit quicker. But you could have definitely come back in a lot of these spots and just really smooth stuff out, or applied the black a little bit slower and got a little bit more saturated, like you see up over here. Um, your shading is very harsh, right? So you just really pack the shading, which it doesn't really do a lot for readability. It all kind of looks the same throughout the whole thing. And I think just trying to get some values in there, maybe slow it down, it's going to be the best bet here. The lining doesn't look bad. Wherever you have a line, it looks all right to me for the most part. So I think shading is probably going to be your biggest issue moving forward, and what you should probably focus your attention on. Just my opinions on the matter as far as that go. Um, and yeah, like Joey said, some spots do look a little bit chewed here and there, which means you're just spending a little bit too much time in those areas, or you're running the machine too fast, uh, overworking things. I wish this smoke that you have going up through here didn't have a line in it. You could definitely get away with not having that line by just shading that line, building that line up by using your dark shades and whatnot. Um, I don't know, Andy, you got anything else for this one? You want
If I tell you the truth, if I be honest, Dave,
be
I
it?
can't see it. It's come through to my end. It's all blurred.
Yeah. Is that
I,
like it just
the
looks hard to
pictures,
read, huh?
no, the picture on my screen's all blurred, Dave. So
Oh, I got you. Let me check it
I'm
out
trying
here.
to look up and try to look down at two screens, but
I see.
I'm gonna pretty much agree with what you said. I mean, especially
Okay.
with the smoke. The smoke's a little bit too rigid, with that line through it. Could have been a bit softer, but I can't really comment on the rest because it's a bit blurred out and it's all melted into itself, to be fair.
No worries, man. We'll jump to the next one. I think we hit this one pretty good. Allison, I appreciate you sending that in. I hope that maybe you got something out of a little information we had there. All right, let's see, guys. We got just a few more minutes. We're going to try to get through maybe just a couple more, and then we'll have to jump off of here. I know I got some stuff I got to do here in a little while, and I know Andy's got some appointments in the morning. So
Yeah, I'm gonna go see Dracula.
next up is Renee. Hi, I sent in the Jack skeleton in a casket a couple weeks ago. All right. This is my first real attempt at something color. I just wanted to see what you guys thought. Thank you for all you do, Renee. Aha. All right. Well, what kind of fake skin? Okay, so using the brand Real Skin Fake Skin. I do personally like the color choices, Andy. I like that the yellow, the bright yellow next to this little like teal. I think it could have been blended a little bit better and whatnot. Um, I think you gotta be careful because over here we're going outside of the lines. I know that sounds really stupid and petty, but in a tattoo, we gotta try to stay inside the lines. That shows that we're trying to probably move a little faster than we should. Some of the lines here are a bit light for the most part. I know there's a lot of people that are going to tell you, but this style, I think you can get away with lining the whiskers.
Yep.
That's controversial, but I think in this style it works. The eyes are actually throwing me off a little bit. They look a little different. And I guess that's okay to some degree. I guess I don't mind this piece, Andy. I think it's all right. I just think for the first try, I suppose it's not too bad.
No, I
What are
mean,
your thoughts,
first,
Andy? You're more into color than I am, so yes, you're right.
yeah, I mean, first off, line work could have been a bit bolder, especially for this style of piece, shall we say. And the black could have been a little bit more saturated in a couple of areas, especially just off bottom of this jaw as it went round. And you're perfectly right, Dave. Them whiskers, for me, line them out, 9 round liner, bong, bong, you know what I mean?
Right.
Traditional, neo-traditional. What I do like, and what I do like what this person's done, this colour blending through the nose, up through here, and everything, where they've gone from that like orangey brown into the darker brown. And when you zoomed in, they've left a little bit of texture on it, you know, with the browns, which is a nice, whether it's done on purpose or not, it's a nice finish. Again, you've hit on it. Look, when we were kids and we got a colouring book, what did your mum and your dad always tell you? Make sure you stay inside lines when you're colouring in. Exactly.
Right.
Same when you're tattooing. Eyes, maybe it's just one colour. Maybe add another colour in with it for me, you know, just to make them pop that little bit more. But what's weird that you said that you liked is this yellow bit that comes into this green, this greeny blue.
Yeah.
I like the yellow bit. I just don't like the colour choice, you know, at the bottom, the greeny blue. And this little bit of beard that comes off just looks a little bit too sharp. It's because then it goes into the mouth and up. I don't know, but that's the reference. That's not the artist's problem. They've just gone off the reference. But other than that, I would say good attempt. You know, for first time out with colour. Got some good. It's got some good blends in it. It's got some good gradation in it. It's got some that are as good. They've even spent the time in the teeth, put a couple of colours in the teeth, you know, to give it that bit of curvature. But like you said, also make sure that your line work's bulletproof if you're going to do this, because that fur around the outside, the line work on that fur is not bulletproof.
Right.
It needed more saturation.
Agreed. Renee, keep at it.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not too bad. We all got work to do. Okie dokie. Getting a little look-see here. Okay. All right. My first tattoos ever. Okay. Obviously, these are not great. Now, my very first tattoos ever. I lost my stencil for most of them. So then I started playing around freehand. I am also thinking these skins are not very good. But what do I know? You're right. Those fake skins are not very good. And if you want to take it serious, I would highly suggest getting yourself some better fake skins. It's worth the investment if you're going to wait. If you're going to put the time into it, to have a decent product.
Bonus. I like very bottom of this skin. I like, just for the simplicity of what they've done. They've tried figuring out some line work. They've tried running just a series of straight lines to figure out what it should look like, what it shouldn't look like. Bonus. I'll give you bonus points for that one. I will give you bonus points for that. And again, left-hand side, bit of circles, bit of lines, little leaf, square. Get brownie points for that one. Keep it small, keep it simple. Are they perfect? No. Is this person figuring out what they need to do? Yes. And this is how you do it.
Yeah, I think for the very first piece of fake skin here, you're doing some pretty realistic things. Lines, little just keep doing more of this, maybe. I mean, you could even stencil. I did at one point, just stencil tons of lines. I made curves, I made straights, I made circles, and I laid them onto a fake skin. Instead, that way you can practice not only running lines, but following a stencil running lines and whatnot as well. So getting used to that. And I understand on fake skin, that stencil runs away real fast. It grows legs and dashes. So think ahead maybe, lay that stencil on the fake skin, let it dry overnight, depending on the stencil you're using and whatnot. Maybe let it dry for a week even. I mean, if you really think ahead, and that way you can practice running those lines. I even see a little stipple work going on here. This little flower, I'm not going to say it's great, but hey, look, you did a little flower. It looks relatively consistent considering, it was your first go at it. So some promising things here. Yeah, day one. Good. I mean, hold on to this. Don't lose it. Look, you dated it. I like that. Oh, you did this yesterday. Good. Do not tattoo human skin. I mean, I'm telling you, because you just started yesterday. I'll be the first one to tell you, don't fall into the temptation of tattooing human skin, all right? Just don't do it. Give yourself some time. Get some good fake skin and keep doing what you're doing.
Lay your stencils down 24 hours before you want them.
Yep.
That'll help you lay them down. Fake skin, keep doing what you're doing. This is how you do it. You're going in the right direction. Nice and steady. Slowly. Does it. And they'll get there. If they've got the patience and they've got the patience to keep it small and do it all like this and work their way out, this person will get there.
Yeah, I agree. And it's day one. Don't be in a rush. Take your time. All right, guys, we're going to look at one more piece here, and then we'll end with if anybody's got a topic they want to discuss for like 5-10 minutes. You got something.
Questions.
It doesn't have to be a question. What's that?
Like you said, Dave, any questions, topics, something they want to chuck in?
Yeah, just something to end it off with, a little conversation as we say goodbye and start departing. It doesn't even have to be a question, just something that you're thinking like, hey, I do this. What do you guys do? And all right, so it looks like it's gonna be the last one. I do apologize for anybody who's going, my email's right there. It's right there. I do apologize. We have to cut it off at some point. And today we gotta dip a little bit on time. Not even early, just on time. All right, so which piece is today? This is 6:38. That's 6:18. All right, so this must be the one. Hey guys, love watching you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you for these videos. They help so much. You're welcome. I've been practicing tattoos for about 4 to 5 months now. Just self-taught. I watch videos here and there. So just looking for some advice on what you guys think of my work. I've only done work on fake skin so far. That's a good thing. I've done 2 tattoos on myself. Oh, okay. So you've done tattoos. Okay. So far as well. The only problem I'm having is not rushing myself. I found myself rushing through sometimes. Yeah. I mean, you probably don't even want to be tattooing human skin. Take your time. We'll see what we got here. I'll reserve my thoughts and opinions for later. Hey, yeah, I think there's some promising stuff here. You just got to keep doing this sort of thing, right? I think the problem is people just do a few, like them, and then on to human skin. It's like, well, take your time. Yeah, go ahead, Andy. I don't want to.
No. As I said, rose. That rose has got nice form for a start.
Yep.
I can tell it's a rose. The curves, the curves seem to be nice and smooth on it. Going round it for the most of it. Are the lines perfect? No, they need work. I don't know what fake skin it's on or whatever, but they just need to slow themselves up, get a bit of an angle on the machine, and just watch as they're running lines. Don't worry about the shading because you've got to go shading on this rose, and to be fair, it's messed up. But I'm looking at your line work. Nice shape, nice form. Just concentrate, slow up a little bit. It looks like you've either passed a little bit too quick in areas on this, or you've gone over it and gone back and you've not quite missed the mark. But what I am quite surprised at, if you scroll a bit further down there, I'm looking at them chest pieces. Now, I'm looking at the straight lines down the side, across the bottom, the little curves over the top and everything, and same with cross and top at king and everything, and they're quite nice. I think they're quite cleanly done, them.
Yeah. I agree with you. There's some promise here, and that I believe,
and there's quite on this piece, should I say, on these, I would say for me, them 2 pieces are the most outstanding pieces. I know they're quite simple, but we're talking straight lines. Then you've got tiny little curves, little round bits, and everything, and they've kept it together and they've kept it looking.
They're not perfect, but you can tell they're trying. You know what I mean? Here you go. Okay, so now we have a flower. We did a little bit of shading, and while it's not shading's not exactly the smoothest per se, but it's definitely not horrible either, right? It's not that super patchy. I see a lot when people are very, very early on fake skin, where it just looks like super little patches throughout. You put some thought, you put some effort into it. It's just a learning and developing thing. You got to keep doing it. We won't even comment. Let's jump. We're gonna jump through. And there's quite a few here.
Yeah.
Oh, the line. Okay, see some improving things here. These lines are looking all right. Some. You're learning. This skin. I wonder if this is the same fake skin. This looks like. I think it's about the same. Yeah, they got some shading going on over here, a little stipple shading, but there's some values going on. They're using some washes. Okay.
Yeah, this are we going backwards here?
I don't know. That's the tricky thing when it comes to these. You never know where did they send it from.
Because,
You
like I
know,
said, some of these don't look as clean as what
right?
the first ones are. That I mean, the mouth. Some of the lining don't look too bad on the mouth. Some of
True.
it's not quite there, but the shading's heavily dark. No open space left. Again, falling into the same thing. Oh, it's full lips. I've got to saturate all of it. No, you don't. Leave some space to
Right.
breathe. Get some texture in. But I'm looking at the lines. They're fairly consistent. They're fairly solid. You know, in that mouth and
Yeah.
teeth.
Right.
It's
Right.
they're still figuring things out.
They
Is this
are.
person?
I think you're right, man. I think they are. I mean, maybe we are going the opposite direction. I think they could have left a lot of this skin open, this fake skin coming open, which give it more curve in these clouds, just to have like this dark whip out to this shade and then maybe just have some openness here to really get that fullness. Lining is, there's some good stuff here. Black seem to be saturated all right. But I mean, at least they're putting little stencils down,
Yeah,
practicing little stencils. Oh, this is Andy's love letter to Joey here. I
Joey.
see. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. One. Yep. There it is. There it is. That's how you feel about that realistic gray.
realism. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yep. Yep. You're shooting him too. I definitely think we're going backwards here because I
Yeah,
think what we looked at first was probably on the better side of what we're looking at now. Well, I don't
yeah.
know. It's a mix. Some of these are
But
okay.
but then you look at that the bottom piece on here, and it looks the lines look fairly well saturated. But then I'm looking at
Right.
that straight line he's pulled. He's pulled a straight line there, and it's not a bad line at all.
No,
That
it's
long
not.
straight line, it's not a bad line at all in that through it.
Very true. Okay, so here we are in human skin, and as we can see, things get a bit more tricky here. This looks a bit chewed up, right through
Yeah,
here and over here. I mean, I think
couple of
we're like
goes.
stretch the skin. I don't know. That's one thing that on fake skin you don't have to worry about so much. Biggest thing on fake skin is maybe just stabilizing it because sometimes it can bounce from the skin, from the vibration. But on human skin, you gotta get a good stretch. I remember my son always asked me, he's like, "Oh, yeah, your hand must be tired." I said, "No, my tattooing hand actually doesn't get as tired. My stretching hand can, and well, it took a while. I think it's worked its strength up. But in the beginning, this hand was a tired hand because it was always stretching, especially if you're working weird spots. Got to stretch that skin out. It's going to help, dissipate some of this bouncing and jumping you're getting in your needle, and probably just running it too fast seems to be the biggest thing.
Yeah,
Or they're running the machine too fast and running that hand too slow, so it's just
yeah.
scarring it.
Because there's no consistency on line weights. And to be honest, with this piece, with how he's done it, can you see that top line with how fat that is chewed up? If he'd have actually just made that line a bit fatter and sculpted it in, and then the one that he'd bodged down the long side, made that a bit fatter to the same thickness as that, and then run it, it'd have almost give it a bit of an on-purpose, 3D effect,
Yeah, yeah.
by deepening them too.
I agree. And yeah, same thing
Yeah,
here.
you just got right that on people, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, I mean this isn't cool. You definitely don't. I would
Nah,
just get off your own skin for a while. You're not doing yourself any favors. Um, because
and
again, it was the fake skin had potential, couple of them, yeah. But was it really there? Was it really shining? No, but it had potential. It needed a few more months, it needs some more time, some more dedication, to really get the consistency down. And even then, that doesn't mean, when you jump to human skin, it's going to be like, oh, rainbows and butterflies. But you would mitigate a lot of what you see here. So,
that. And to be honest, Dave, I don't know about you,
yeah.
and there's a certain thing within tattooing community that don't matter how much you're going to pay me, I ain't putting that on you.
Right. Now, I'm me neither. This is not up my
I'm
alley
just
of things I want to tattoo up,
no
just personally.
swear words, hate,
Right.
profanities, out like that. I've been asked to do them, and basically it's like, no, not doing it, even down to the point I've had clients come in and they've asked to do it, and I've said, no, I'm not doing it. And they've gone, that's fourth or fifth tattoo artist that said they won't do it. Well,
yeah,
wake up, smell the roses, won't do it for a reason.
Yeah, I had a guy that wanted F, like full word, F the world on his neck.
No,
not happening. An easy, man. Hey, I'm sorry, man. It's not something I'm going to do.
No.
You know, and I've never had it. It was the only time anybody's ever asked me for a swear word, and it was over the top on the neck as well. At the time, I wasn't even comfortable tattooing necks, so it was an easy no on top of that. But
yeah, well, that's it. It's just one of them things. Profanities and stuff like that. Like I say, I've asked loads of times. I've had them come in and they've gone, no, I want a quote on my ankle. And she went, oh, what do you want? She went, F you and F the world. You know what I mean? It's like, no, that's not happening. So
yeah, same, man. Well, guys, if you don't have any questions or any topics you want to discuss real quick, no worries. We'll jump off of here. I know my wife is waiting to go watch a movie. And so, you got to keep the bosses happy. So
chick flick night.
I don't know. I don't think that's what it is, but it could be. Who knows? Who knows? There's a show, I think, something along those lines. But nonetheless, guys, I appreciate y'all sent work in. It was enjoyable. I had a fun time this evening, taking a look, talking. Let's see. Next Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday here in the States, so we may not be here next Sunday, unfortunately. Just giving you a heads up. So if I'm not 100% sure, I'll let you know when it gets closer. But if Sunday comes and we're not here, just know that it's football. And then after that, football's over and carry on. That's obviously the States football, which is nuts.
So,
anyhow.
You're only going to watch chick flick then tonight, so you could watch Super Bowl next week without getting your ears chewed off.
It's a give and take. Right?
That's it. So, well, if I did sit there and watch Marley and Me or whatever it is with you, you know what I mean? It's so you got to sit there and watch Super Bowl with me.
Yeah, Smoke says, "Ew, American football." LOL. Yeah, I know, right? I'm not even.
For me. I'll have to find something else to do with my time next Sunday then.
Right. We'll just be over here twiddling thumbs.
I'll be just like that. I'll be just sat there doing that, thinking it's goal lifetime, and I got ditched for football. They've just ditched me for a load of blokes running around on a field playing with the balls. You know what I mean? It's like.
A bunch of dudes wearing some tight clothing. It's like, what is going on?
Yeah, just wants to see a lot of blokes running around in bright lycra. You know what I mean?
And then the beautiful part of it is it's so true too, because it's like everybody watches here in the state. For the most part, a lot of people watch the Super Bowl, even if they don't watch football. They want to go to somebody's house, eat their snacks, have the whole like get excited about things, kind of thing. But then you ask somebody who won last year, it's like, I don't even know who was in the Super Bowl last year. It was such an important thing. And then nobody knows after it's over. It's like, yay, unless your team won the Super Bowl, you don't even remember the next year. So it is what it is. But Smoke had it. They're in spandex, but it is weird when you look at it from the outside. You're like, so what's happening here? They run a play and then we wait 2 minutes and then they that's pretty much what it is. And the ball's rarely on someone's foot, rarely. They're kicking the ball, punts, field goals. I don't know why we call it football. Should be throw ball. I don't know who's making the rules, not me. But all right, guys. I thank you guys. Appreciate you being here. Andy, any final words?
No, like I said, appreciate you being here. And again, like we say, can't do it without you. Nice to see people in chat.
Give the stream a like on your way out, y'all.
Yeah, that's it. Like I say, if you don't get enough likes, we're not coming back next week.
Yeah.
We'll be here next week.
Yeah, that'll be oh man. All right, bye guys.